Chapter 101. Ecological Park Reform. Boss, we've been digging for so long, but we still haven't seen what we're looking for. The tall, thin man asked. Are you lying? Don't you know that good things always appear last? I know this. The short fat man replied. That makes sense. I didn't expect that, Feng Chu, how do you know so much? Feng Chu smiled and said, I have been studying the Shanzai Sutra since I was a child. Great job, Feng Chu. Low profile. Su Shijia was almost speechless. His whole face was black. As for the code names of these two products, Su Shijia covered his head. These two guys actually organized it in this way. What on earth are those people in the organization doing? Look at the two talents. Su Shijia couldn't help but say something. It's really a crouching dragon and a phoenix. Coincidentally, these words were heard by two people. Hey, boss, what you just said was really eloquent. The tall, thin man said. Really? I didn't expect our boss to be so educated. He's almost surpassed me. The short fat man said confidently, looking at Su Shijia with admiration. This made Su Shijia very uncomfortable. Damn it, I don't need your approval. Su Shijia cursed in his heart. In that case, let's use this as our code name. The tall, thin man said happily. Of course you can, just be the Wolong. I'll be the Phoenix chick. The short fat man continued. So, before Su Shijia could stop them, the two guys had already filled out their applications. It feels like an organization has never been so efficient. It passed the review and approval immediately. Then Crouching Dragon and Phoenix Chick became the code names for the two of them. A code name that frightened both the enemy and us was born. Ding ding ding. There's news from the organization. Su Shijia opened the Pokémon encyclopedia and said. Click on the video call screen. Su Shijia, Wolong, and Feng Chu stood obediently in front of the screen. The screen lights up. A black figure sitting there. Scorpion, have we reached our destination? A strong voice came from the screen. Report, we have arrived at our destination. But at the scene, we did not find the place the organization asked us to find. Maybe it's too deep there, and we can't dig in at all. No more words were said on the screen of the Pokémon encyclopedia. There was just a constant stream of sounds coming from the illustrated book, sounds of knocking on the table. The three people didn't dare to make a sound. I understand. Hunter J will accompany you to complete this mission. Hunter J. What's that crazy woman doing here? Su Shijia said with a little surprise. Haha, Scorpion, don't mind it so much. The Hunter organization wants to intervene in this matter. We are both partners and buyers. I hope you can get along well. Oh, by the way, I have heard that your area will be requisitioned by the Alliance. I will send a batch of Pokémon to help you. Scorpion, I hope you won't let me down again. After saying this, the screen suddenly fell into darkness. Su Shijia didn't say anything. Just looking at the mechanical prosthesis on his left hand. I think back to the years before I joined the organization. It was a bright early morning. When I was a child, I curled up in a dark corner, like a piece of trash abandoned by everyone. It was pitch black all around. Su Shijia looked at his childhood self. That disgusting look. I am really hungry. Looking at the buns at the roadside stall. I was starving, but who would care about a beggar? He was a disabled person with a broken left hand. How I wish that bun would fly in front of me. Su Shijia thought desperately, but a miracle happened. That bun flew up for no apparent reason. It came in front of him as if it was wrapped in something. Su Shijia looked at the buns and his mouth was watering. He grabbed a handful and gobbled it up. I nearly choked to death when I was halfway through eating. Looking back, in another corner, there was a Pokémon that looked like a fox, with a pointed nose, eyes that were almost always closed, and two ears with pale yellow inside on top of its head. What's your name? Do you want to eat too? Kathy nodded. Finally, he was discovered by the organization and brought back for training, becoming a reptile in the dark world. What's your code name? Scorpion. Regarding the follow-up plan for the ecological park. Do you have any other suggestions? Dongfang Yan sat at the round table in the breeding house. Grandma Lan, Sister Wan Wan, and Qiandi Chang who was dragged along to make up the numbers. Everyone gestured to let Dongfang Yan speak first. Regarding the Pokémon sales, I originally thought that it was normal for a breeding house to sell young Pokémon. But only after you have nurtured them yourself, and only after you have accompanied them yourself, can you truly understand the feeling of reluctance to let them go. Although I haven't disciplined them too much, I don't want to continue running them like this. So our ecological park needs to undergo reforms. Dong Fangyan thought. Reminds me of watching anime. Those trainers who go out on a trip leave their Pokémon in the care of the professor, well, they are that group of little idiots. The doctor's family owns a large area. And it seems I have it too. Grandma, how big is our land? Grandma Lan raised her eyebrows. Well, didn't I give you a box last time? Did you take one of them out last time and build an eco park? Dong Fangyan nodded. That's the title deed, right? Dong Fangyan nodded again. We have 2 boxes like that at home. So how many miles is this area? Are all of them ours? Grandma Lan nodded. How many families are there around here? Oh, well, if they want to build a house there, let them do it. There's still so much land, so we don't care about 1 or 2. Dong Fangyan was silent. Actually, I am considered half a rich second generation. No wonder the area around my house is so desolate. If you walk forward for a while, you will almost reach the moonlight forest. If you walk back for a long way, you will reach the county area of Yangcheng. How on earth did you and Grandpa get so much land in the past? Dong Fangyan couldn't help but ask. And what did Grandpa do in the past? Sister Wan Wan immediately pricked up her ears when she heard this. Fatty Qian woke up instantly. Sat up immediately. My goodness, Grandpa Dong Fangyan, although he is no longer in the world, his legends are everywhere in the world. Grandma Lan touched the ring on her hand. Well. Chapter 102. Story. Well. Have you heard about the storm incident? Grandma Lan looked at everyone and asked. What's the matter? Dong Fangyan scratched his butt. Fatty Qian was even more confused. Sister Wan Wan fell into deep thought. The butler touched his chin and suddenly clapped his hands. Snapped. I see. The fat man was so scared that he trembled. What's going on? Grandpa Butler, please don't be so startled. The fat man patted his chest and complained. Sorry, master, it's my problem. Fatty Qian waved his hand to indicate that it was over. So what is a storm event? Dong Fangyan asked. The housekeeper saw that Grandma Lan didn't say anything, so he explained. That was a long time ago. At that time, I was still a young man who wanted to venture out and make a career out of it. I was full of passion and wanted to do something great. I don't know where the rumor came from at that time, saying that the 3 sacred birds were on an island. After hearing the news, we all headed to that unknown island. When we arrived, the island was stormy and huge waves were hitting the boat. We wanted to evacuate, so we left. But some people still wanted to explore. But before long, the storm chased the ship, a flame fell from the sky, and a scorching heat wave hit us. We had no choice but to abandon the ship and escape. We looked up at the sky. In the dark clouds, 3 figures were flying back and forth. They were the 3 sacred birds in the legend. But for some reason, they seemed to have gone berserk. This is the legendary Moltres, Frosta Bird and Lightning Bird. 3 legendary Pokémon attacking each other with reckless abandon. The sea was covered with dark clouds, lightning, wind, snow, and heat waves. Gradually, we passed through the fragments of the ship and drifted for a long time, and finally saw the land, which is the port. But the trouble is, 3 legendary Pokémon are following us as well. The legendary Pokémon, blinded by anger, simply doesn't care. We charged straight into the city, still treating it as a new battlefield. Everyone thought the city was in danger, even me. I had expected Senior Alliance investigators to stop us, but unfortunately, after waiting for a while, not even one person came out to fight. Just as the 3 sacred birds were wantonly destroying the buildings in the city, a Pokémon trainer, riding a flying Pokémon, slowly flew in front of the 3 sacred birds, raised an international friendly sign, and shouted, 3 stupid birds, come and chase me if you can. That person's voice was so loud that I could hear it even when I was drifting to the harbor. At this moment, the port has been destroyed, the ships have been broken into pieces, half of the port has been frozen into blocks, and the other half is burning with flames. The trainer riding the flying Pokémon successfully provoked the anger of the 3 legendary Pokémon, and Zapdos let out a long cry and launched a fierce attack. The trainer riding a flying Pokémon dodged the attack of the Zapdos with a dragon's tail swing, and even used an air slash to fight back. Fatty Chien wiped his saliva and said, "Grandpa Butler, you are not telling a story, are you? How could there be such a Pokémon trainer? Isn't that courting death?" Dongfang Yan didn't say anything because it sounded very familiar. "It is true." Sister Wan Wan opened the Pokémon encyclopedia. "Turn it over for everyone to see, and on it are 3 legendary Pokémon, Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres. They were all accumulating energy in their mouths to increase the power of their skills. Opposite them, a night owl flapped its wings." Dongfang Yan and Fatty Chien stared at the screen intently. "The appearance of the night owl can be roughly seen on the screen, but the appearance of my grandfather can no longer be seen clearly due to the age. However, from this photo, you can understand the pressure that Pokémon trainer felt at the time. Not everyone can face the existence of the divine beast. Under the oppressive feeling of the divine beast, most people flee in panic." Everyone looked at Grandma Lan. "Want to get the real answer?" Grandma Lan nodded and said, "Everything you said is true. Yes, that flying-type Pokémon trainer is your grandpa." Everyone was also surprised when they got the real answer. The butler was really impressed by Grandpa Dongfang Yan's courage and wisdom. Looking at the night owl in the yard, he looked calm and indeed very handsome. So what happened in the end? Fatty Chien was so fascinated by what he was listening to that he didn't know what happened to Dongfang Yan's grandfather in the end. He was now extremely hungry and thirsty. So what happened in the end? Dongfang Yan also asked. The housekeeper shook his head and signaled Grandma Lan to speak. Grandma Lan smiled. "Start replenishing. Do you know why the alliance members didn't show up? Because that storm incident was premeditated. It was an organized, premeditated, and planned attack." "Oh, is it true?" Fatty Chien asked in surprise. The butler nodded thoughtfully. "It seems to be true." The butler continued. "Could it be that we were deceived? Could it be that? To provoke the 3 sacred birds?" Grandma Lan nodded. "That's right. Not only that, the people in this criminal organization also used a trick to lure the tiger away from the mountain that day and deceived all the senior alliance investigators, just to let the 3 stupid birds go crazy in the city without restraint." "So what happened to Grandpa Dongfang Yan in the end?" Fatty Chien asked. He didn't care about the organization's affairs. He just wanted to find out how awesome Dongfang Yan's grandfather was. Sister Wan Wan patted the fat man and said, "You are so rude. What's next?" Fatty Chien. Seeing that they didn't care about the organization's affairs, Grandma Lan didn't mention it. "Later, your grandfather acted on his own and saw that the 3 stupid birds were going to attack humans and destroy the city, so he prepared to lead them away by himself so that everyone would have a chance to escape. So your grandfather released Night Owl, looked at the 3 Pokémon fighting in the sky, and said to Night Owl, 'Are you scared?' Night Owl shook his head, and then your grandfather rode on Night Owl to provoke the 3 stupid birds." "So, how did Grandpa get killed like this?" Fatty Chien asked. "That's not the case, your grandfather is not someone who would die so easily. At the last moment when Night Owl was exhausted, he was hit by Articuno's freezing ray. The double damage put Night Owl directly into a near-death state, and he fell into the deep sea with your grandfather. The 3 holy birds saw that the annoying thing had finally stopped, and then they started fighting again. But this time we were far away from the city, in the sky above the sea, all kinds of skills were flying randomly, stirring up the sea water, the storm was gathering over the sea, and it started to rain." Chapter 103. The fighting between the 3 sacred birds has destroyed the local ecology. Many of the Pokémon on the seabed were accidentally injured, and the cold and hot water in the sea were constantly mixing. The hurricane created by the 3 sacred birds caused the sea water to flow back and fly into the sky. Formed a dragon sucking water. Faint thunder exploded from the sky, and a rainstorm came down rapidly with the speed of lightning. But the battle of the 3 sacred birds has not stopped. The ship on the sea was stranded, and just when everyone was in despair, a larger column of water rushed from the ocean to the sky, like water from the sky. Fierce hurricane force winds circle around the water column, forming violent tornadoes. The water column was gradually scraped away, with a blurry white figure curled up in it. Boom! With a loud noise, the tornado and water column were all broken up. The white figure has revealed its true form. Except for the belly and tail fin, which are blue, the rest of the body is white. A pair of wings spread out, like huge hands. Logia. Around Logia, there was a storm, and together with the surrounding dragons sucking water, it formed a unique landscape. On Lugia's back, Dongfang Mu, who was soaked by sea water, grabbed Lugia's dorsal fin. Dongfang Mu spat out a few mouthfuls of water and looked at the pokeball in his pocket. Nidole was almost dying. He didn't dare to take out the pokeball to retrieve the Nidole in the air until it fell into the sea, then he retrieved the Nidole back into the pokeball. Dongfang Mu was about to swim up. He should have found a water-type Pokémon as a partner. Feeling the water suddenly flow rapidly, Dongfang Mu's body moved involuntarily. What happened? Dongfang Mu looked down and saw a white figure surrounding him from below. What kind of Pokémon is this? The white Pokémon suddenly rushed towards Dongfang Mu. Dongfang Mu was so scared that he quickly swam to the side, but it seemed like it was coming straight towards him. A white figure rushed to his side, and Dongfang Mu was lifted up by a force. Dongfang Mu subconsciously grabbed its dorsal fin, and the powerful impact force continued to hit him. Bang! A white figure rushed out of the water, bringing up a large column of water, and a violent storm surrounded it. Suddenly, the Pokémon under his crotch flapped its wings violently, dispersing all the surrounding water columns and hurricanes. That seems to be it. The god of ocean currents Lugia. Everyone on the boat ran to the bow and looked at the white figure in the sky. Moltres, Articuno and Zapdos are in a three-way competition. Surrounding Lugia. Dongfang Mu finally reacted. Lugia. Lugia's voice is like that of a giant whale in the deep sea, deep and ethereal. Woo! I really don't know how to describe it. The three sacred birds were not polite at all. It was originally a civil war, but since that was the case, they all chose to unite against the enemy. Look, is there a person on that Lugia? After hearing this, everyone on the boat took out their telescopes and looked at Lugia's back. Dongfang Mu grabbed Lugia's dorsal fin with one hand and looked at the three legendary Pokémon in front of him. The atmosphere gradually became tense. However, this atmosphere ended when Moltres charged up to spray flames, Frostabird charged up to charge its freezing ray, and Zapdos charged up its electromagnetic cannon. Dongfang Mu took out the Pokémon encyclopedia and took a look at Lugia. I didn't expect that Pokémon like Lugia would be included. I have a general understanding of all of Lugia's skills. Can I fight alongside you? Dongfang Mu leaned over and asked. Lugia nodded slightly. Lightning shone on Dongfang Mu. Dongfang Mu's smooth and fair face reveals his angular and cold handsomeness, his dark and deep eyes hold a special sincerity. My hair was soaked by sea water, with 3 or 4 drops of water falling. For some reason, I felt a sense of security. Boom! The 3 sacred birds attack at the same time. Dodge and use mystical guard at the same time. Lugia was not idle. When the 3 sacred birds launched an attack, he protected himself with mysterious guard. At the same time, spread your wings and flap them violently. The powerful force caused waves on the entire sea surface. Lugia relied on its speed to dodge all attacks from the 3 sacred birds, and the 3 sacred birds were chasing after it relentlessly. Various skills are released for free. Under the siege of the 3 mythical birds, Lugia was inevitably hit several times. But they were all at tricky angles, and Lugia blocked them all, preventing Dongfang Mu from getting hurt. We can only take the initiative. Passively accepting beatings can only lead to slow death. You have to pick the weak ones when picking persimmons. Among these 3 Pokémon, only Moltres is the easiest to defeat under the current circumstances. In this stormy weather, its strength is undoubtedly weakened. Lugia, find the right angle to target Moltres and use water cannon. Lugia suddenly shot upwards. Dongfang Mu held on to the dorsal fin tightly, afraid of falling off accidentally. When it reaches a certain height, it flips backwards and does a turn. Accumulate energy in your mouth. The 3 sacred birds continued to rush upwards foolishly, and it was not until Moltres and Lugia were back to back that Moltres realized that something was wrong. Water cannon. Direct perfect hit. In this kind of weather, there is no need to pray for rain. The power of water skills has been greatly increased. The other 2 Pokémon were frightened by the sight. The originally angry eyes became somewhat clear. But as divine beasts, they are not allowed to give up their dignity. Moltres was already injured. Under the condition of being restrained by attributes, double damage, plus this bad weather. He was knocked unconscious by the blast. Fall into the sea. Everyone on the boat saw it and said, "Go catch it, go catch it." They moved their boats one after another. How greedy! Dongfang Mu shook his head. It doesn't matter. Whoever catches it will have his Pokeball smashed. We have to deal with the two Pokémon in front first. The Zapdos was very fast. In the melee, it was approached carelessly and began to emit electric light all over its body. It used the discharge skill directly. Lugia and Dongfang Mu were shaking all over from the electric shock. Dongfang Mu spat out a mouthful of blood. Geometric snowflakes, frozen beams. Enduring the convulsions from the electric shock, Dongfang Mu issued an order. Geometric snowflakes floating in the air. A beam of ice hit the Zapdos directly in the face. Lugia has very strong resistance, and with the help of mysterious protection, it is immune to paralysis effects. Flapping its wings, it left the range of the discharge. The lightning bird was frozen into a block of ice. Although this power is not as strong as Articuno, but at least it is a property restraint. It can also slow down the flight of the lightning bird. Articuno went around behind Lugia and tried to launch a sneak attack from behind. I've been prepared for this move of yours. Predict future. The ability to predict the future was used in advance. At this moment, Articuno was hit. A ball of mental power instantly compressed the hasty bird. Now, cyclone attack. Various air masses appear around Lugia. Hit the jerk bird at the same time. The hurried bird also fell down. A bolt of lightning struck from the sky. Lugia reacted quickly, flapping its wings fiercely and narrowly avoiding the attack. There were icy pebbles left on the body of the Zapdos. Seeing that he was the only Zapdos left, he wanted to avoid the fight. But Lugia won't give it this chance. Dragon's Dive. A blue dragon-shaped light ignited on Lugia's body. The wings flapped. Just hit the lightning bird. The lightning bird flapped its wings rapidly, trying to dodge. But it's not that simple. How could Lugia's Dragon Dive be avoided so easily? What's more, Zapdos was frozen by the ice beam and had difficulty moving. He could only watch as Lugia slammed into him. Boom! Chapter 104, Planting the Celebi Sapling. The impact of the dragon's dive was too much for the lightning bird to resist. He fainted immediately and fell into the sea. Brothers, come on, capture these legendary beasts, and we will be their trainers. A crew member with a wretched look picked up his Pokémon Red and White ball and shouted. Let's go catch the one we didn't defeat. Haha, if you don't go, I'll have one less competitor. As he said this, he looked at Moltres not far away, picked up the red and white Pokémon ball and threw it over with force. Haha, I'm the legendary beast trainer. Crack! A voice sounded. The Pokémon ball thrown by the wretched man was frozen into ice. Geometric snowflakes slowly fall from the sky. The crew members present watched all the battles and were naturally impressed by this unexpected Pokémon. If this Pokémon appears here. So. Everyone looked up. Dongfang Mu rode on Lugia, looking down from above, at the people below. Well, the weather is nice. The wretched man said something awkwardly, didn't want the Pokeball anymore, and ran back to the boat in a panic. Everyone looked at him with contempt. Looking at Dongfang Mu who was above, the crew members nodded in greeting. They naturally have to respect the person who saved their lives. Dongfang Mu didn't say much. Lugia's powerful superpowers lifted up Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno. Fly away from this place of intrigue. On an island. The three silly birds finally settled down, thanks to Lugia's friendly persuasion. These three Pokémon have opinions about each other, and they all say that the others are wrong, so it's better to make it clear. But Dongfang Mu felt that this matter was not that simple, because the three stupid birds didn't even know the situation, they started fighting as soon as they met, and they didn't even know how they met. Okay, you guys handle the rest by yourselves. I should go now. My girlfriend is waiting for me on the shore. Dongfang Mu said as he straightened his clothes. Lugia lowered his head, took off a feather from his body, held it in his mouth and handed it to Dongfang Mu. This is, the silver feather. Lugia nodded. I'll take it. It's really comfortable to work with you. I look forward to seeing you next time. You can become a true Poseidon. Dongfang Mu touched Lugia's head. After cooperating for so many times, Dongfang Mu also realized that this Lugia had just reached adulthood. He didn't have his own fighting style yet, so when there was no command at the beginning, he was ready to use self-regeneration to protect himself. He released the recovered night owl, stroked its head, and said, "Thank you for your hard work." Then he looked at Lugia and the three stupid birds behind it. Gone. Dongfang Mu rode on the night owl, which flapped its wings and disappeared into the horizon. Damn, this is so cool. Fatty Qian's eyes are full of little stars. I am full of admiration for Grandpa Dongfang Yan's deeds. So Grandpa has also ridden Lugia? Dongfang Yan asked. Grandma Lan nodded. Everyone present didn't know what to say. Not only have I fought with mythical beasts, I have also ridden a first-level god. And then his own strength is also very strong. So how did his grandfather die? No one present dared to ask. Grandma Lan was not in the mood to continue talking. The topic returned to how to run a good ecological park. I think we can foster other people's Pokémon. We have this huge piece of land. Just draw the boundaries. Fostering other people's Pokémon in the ecological park. At the same time, I can make a name for myself. It can also sustain the living needs of the Eco Park. Grandma Lan nodded. If you use all this land, how do you take care of it? You have to know that you are just an ordinary trainer now. You haven't learned all the knowledge about training yet. You can't control those things, right? Dongfang Yan scratched his hair. That's the same reason. What should we do? My advice is to take it one step at a time, and start a foster care service first. It won't be too late to make plans after you have cultivated the Pokémon in your ecological park. Dongfang Yan fell into deep thought. What do you mean? Grandma Lan nodded. The average trainer usually only has 6 Pokémon, unless he travels a lot and is very powerful and has multiple Pokémon. Generally speaking, breeders have more Pokémon, don't they? Dongfang Yan looked at the fat man, and the fat man nodded thoughtfully. Saying so. It seems so. Those Pokémon in the ecological park are also your Pokémon. I've fallen into a bit of a blind spot in my thinking. It's a bit strange to be a Pokémon breeder for the first time. That being said, you don't just have to train your main Pokémon. The training plans for other Pokémon in the ecological park should also be strengthened. When their levels reach over 40, only then can you have the ability to manage all the surrounding areas. Oh, I understand now. Dongfang Yan nodded. Now that we have a goal, it is to strengthen the Pokémon training program. After finishing their meal, everyone came out of the restaurant. The boss was smiling and joking. I almost offended someone to death, how could such a big mistake be caused? The boss gave the customer a 50% discount, which was not a big deal, but he was just afraid that the customer would break his bones. The group of people went back to their homes to look for their mothers. Fatty Qian and the housekeeper sent them to their destination and then left. Sister Wan Wan looked at Dongfang Yan, said hello, and didn't say anything else. There are some things that it is not the right time to ask. After returning home, Dongfang Yan sent the Pokémon back to the ecological park. There is one thing left to do. Dongfang Yan looked at Dragonite. Take out the hidden celebi sapling. Where do you think is the best place to plant this thing? Dragonite shook his head and spread his hands. Indicates that he doesn't know. Dongfang Yan understood it. This guy just did too much in the past. Now it's just a mess. There was no other choice, Dongfang Yan could only find a place by himself. After much deliberation, Chuanding decided to plant the celebi sapling beside a small lake not far from the cave. This place is not exposed to too much direct sunlight. But it can also fully absorb sunlight. There is still enough water, so let's plant it here. How can I call myself digging? This brought the gopher that had been prepared in advance. The mole was ready to go to bed, but Dongfang Yan gave him this trick. When the Kichi was digging the soil, he scattered all the soil on Dongfang Yan. Dongfang Yan didn't dare to fart, so he let the Chaochu fish spit some water into it, and completed the planting of the celebi sapling. The gate of the ecological park was suddenly opened and Grandma Lan walked in. Wow! Why has this place changed so much? It's funny to say that after Grandma Lan came back, she immediately started preparing for Dongfang Yan's funeral. We didn't even have the chance to visit the ecological park, and those Pokémon were taken out by Sister Wan Wan. Chapter 105. Grandma Lan looked at the ecological park which had undergone tremendous changes. For some reason, the night owl saw it again at a glance. Dongfang Yan was still digging the soil with the gopher. Looking at the sky, the night owl suddenly flew down again and then flew towards the entrance of the ecological park. What is night owl doing? Dongfang Yan sprinkled some quick fertilizer, long-term fertilizer, and super effective fertilizer on the soil around the saplings. Dongfang Yan bought everything that could be bought in the system store. Then all the celebi saplings were fertilized. Dongfang Yan looked at the saplings that were surrounded by fertilizer. It shouldn't be killed by too much fertilizer. If you apply too much fertilizer, the saplings will die. This tree is so unusual, there shouldn't be any problem. Dongfang Yan glanced at Dragonite guiltily. Speaking of saplings, the fruit seedlings planted earlier have grown into small trees. With the help of fertilizer from the system store, the fruit trees are about to bloom. Young trees will bear fruit, but not a lot of it. This represents a good start. And I have made an agreement with Land Mantis. We will pick them up and bring them to the ecological park at that time. And this matter cannot be delayed, for fear of any unexpected accidents. Still need to deal with it quickly. Take Dragonite and bring them back. Cuckoo. The sound of a night owl suddenly came from the sky. Accompanied by the sound of the Pidgeot, big bird, circling in the sky. Hey, isn't this Grandma's Pokémon? Roar. Nidoqueen slowly approached from behind. You can see that they are also very excited. Grandma Lan followed slowly behind with Ibrahimovic in her arms. The other Pokémon in the ecological park hid behind the trees and watched. They are both curious and afraid of strangers and Pokémon. And then 2 more Pokémon appeared behind Grandma Lan. Oh wow, these Pokémon are a little unfamiliar, although I have seen them before. But that was a long time ago. The Jewel Starfish, the Sunflower Monster, and a fiery red fox. These Pokémon are all familiar faces from the past. It's just that I used to ignore them and had no interest in them. But now those Pokémon are also greeting him. Dongfang Yan felt that this feeling was very wonderful. Before the ecological park was built, there was a stream behind my house where jewel sea stars often swam. The sunflower monster always follows Grandma around, trimming flowers and plants. As for the fire fox, it is a Pokémon that Grandma caught on the way. It likes to stay in the Pokeball very much and is often taken out by Grandma for forced strolls. It can be said to be a childhood memory. Although it was not my childhood. Xiao Yan, your ecological park is well built. Didn't it cost a lot of money? Dongfang Yan scratched his head a little embarrassedly. It must be good, it's given by the system, what could be wrong with it? How could there be any difference? As for the money, well, I embezzled so much of it. After all, the money in the account prepared for decoration is still in his own account. Hardly any was used. Just used to buy tree fruits and other things. Of course you don't need that much money. So I still have a lot of money in my name. Hehe, it did cost a lot. After all, it was designed by me personally. You can design these things. Grandma Lan said puzzledly. Haha, didn't I let the workers design it? I was just standing by and giving them instructions. Grandma Lan didn't dwell on it any further. After all, it was impossible for this thing to appear overnight. Right. Seeing that the old man didn't continue to struggle, Dongfang Yan also breathed a sigh of relief. Hey, what is this? Grandma Lan looked at the celebi sapling that had just been planted. Dongfang Yan looked at Dragonite, and Dragonite spread out his hands indifferently. This guy really is a hands-off boss. This is what I brought out from the moonlit forest. It's related to celebi. Grandma Lan was a little surprised. You found this? Dongfang Yan nodded very confidently. Grandma Lan could only sigh that she was so lucky. As for time travel or something. At her age, the more she loses, the more she understands. What you get is proportional to what you give. The more you give, the more you get. All matter is conserved. As for traveling through time and changing things. This is already a trip for my grandson. Although it was already quite late. But the bright moonlight shines on the ecological park, and under the reflection of the glass, the entire ecological park is relatively bright. Still pretty good. Why do gophers get angry? Whose people dig the ground and plant trees at night? The main focus is on being decisive and swift. Okay, it's so late and you're still here digging trees. You woke up all the Pokémon. Little C rubbed his eyes and walked over. When he heard what Grandma Lan said, he nodded in agreement. Little Tana came over angrily and covered his ears tightly. Seeing this, Grandma Lan quietly left the scene. Ruined. I almost forgot that the baby's ears have very clear hearing and can easily hear sounds from kilometers away. What to do? I made it angry. Waiting online. Dongfang Yan thought silently. As expected, I was still scolded. Little Tana jumped up and pulled Dongfang Yan's ear and scolded him. Tabnei. Little C followed suit, put his hands on his hips, and watched Dongfang Yan and Han Bawanwei quarreling. Dongfang Yan could only persuade him kindly. Spare my life, I was wrong, I won't do it again, give me some face. Finally, I calmed little Tana down and sent the Pokémon who were watching the fun nearby back to sleep. Some of the Pokémon here originally came from the wild, and they can build their own nests to sleep in. They also divide the areas themselves and have clear signs. For example, the gopher's home is on the lawn not far in front of the entrance to the ecological park, and it is full of holes. Every time Dongfang Yan went to look for gophers, he would dawdle at the entrance of their holes, really dawdle. The angry mole threw sand at Dongfang Yan. Dongfang Yan was about to do such a shameless thing, and Kuai Long kept shaking his head beside him. When Dongfang Yan saw Dragonite, he could only continue to slander Dragonite. Dongfang Yan left after finishing dealing with the ecological park. After this fight and play, the relationship between the Pokémon in the ecological park has reached a new level. The jewel starfish finally swam to the middle of the lake. There is only one word to describe its reaction: awesome. The sunflower monster found a random place to sleep. It was so big that he could find a place to rest anywhere. The Pidgeot and the night owl are staying on the rocky mountain. Nidoqueen naturally likes this place. It reminds it of the days when it was a child and had to hide. It's not bad either. The demonic red fox found a tree branch and fell asleep. And my brother, crawling by the lake, was sleeping soundly. Chapter 106, Cooking. Dongfang Yan lay on the bed and yawned. Accompanied by a dazzling light. Dongfang Yan opened his eyes. Then we went downstairs. Sister Wanwan just put down her bag while watching Grandma Lan cleaning. Dongfang Yan was wearing pajamas, lying at the door, looking at everyone in the breeding house. Good morning. Dongfang Yan got up and disappeared into the corridor. The owl closed the window. Then fly back to the ecological park. Sister Wanwan looked at Grandma Lan, and they smiled at each other. Dongfang Yan came back after washing up. Of course, one person cannot lift the bucket of Pokémon cubes. I called a few Pokémon including Zoroark to help with the move. Speaking of moving things, I, Soraya, just laughed it off and pretended I didn't hear anything. Speaking of moving Pokémon cubes and preparing to eat, I, Zoroark, directly transform into Kyobiki Bear. I strode towards the entrance of the ecological park, because I couldn't bear to watch others moving things. Moving it yourself is fast. During the time when Dongfang Yan was not at home, Sister Wanwan also bought some bowls for Pokémon to eat from, and some eating racks for flying Pokémon to eat from. The indestructible cat climbing frame that was previously drawn in the system lottery is now a toy for the baby bears. The demonic fire red fox also came to join in the fun. Dongfang Yan was up too late yesterday and couldn't remember using his true eyes to see those. Eye of True Seeing. Elf, Demon Fire Red Fox, Level 67. Potential, A. Gender, Female. Attributes, Fire, Psychic. Status, Healthy. Features, Fierce Fire, when physical strength decreases, the power of fire attribute moves will increase. Inherited skill, Heat Wind. Basic skills, Shadow Ball, Future Sight, Spark, Role Play, Flame Vortex, Flame Jet, Sunny Day. Skill CD, None. Props to carry, None. Note, Foxy, a fox Pokémon, is the evolved form of the long-tailed fox. If you stare at the flame burning at the front of the wooden staff and concentrate, you can see what will happen in the future. Dongfang Yan was stunned. Big boss? The demon fire red fox looked at Dongfang Yan with a smile. It has to be said that girls just like beautiful creatures. Grandma Lan prefers small and exquisite Pokémon. For example, Ibrahimovic. She likes to stick to Grandma Lan all day long. He is a complete bootlicker. Well, not particularly accurate. Yango, this silly dog, was taken home by Fatty Chien and raised for a few days. All he did all day long was open his mouth and stick out his tongue, waiting for Grandma Lan to feed him. But conditions are better now. You can raise them for a while longer, and then you can have Pokémon battles, upgrade their levels, and strengthen their combat awareness. As for your teachers and stuff. Are you kidding? We already have some ready-made at home. Aren't those Pokémon of Grandma Lan the best teachers? There is a sunflower monster with grass attribute. The water attribute is the gem starfish. The rock attribute also includes the Pangean monster couple. There is no need to talk about flying, with my brother cat and sister eagle here, it is not a problem. These Pokémon don't have levels, characteristics, or genders yet. But it doesn't matter, as long as you are better than Xiaoxi and the others. The ugly fish in the water had already told all the Pokémon in the ecological park before it was born. You can't make fun of other people's appearance, otherwise you won't have food to eat for a month. It's so funny. This is more painful than killing them in an ecological park full of foodies. So, until now, although Clownfish feels that it seems a little ugly compared to other Pokémon, the Pokémon have deliberately downplayed it. Actually, after looking at it for a long time, it's just like that. Ugliness has its own characteristics. What's more, the Chowchu fish was born in front of some Pokémon in the ecological park. So no Pokémon will provoke. Although there are some very naughty knocking monkeys in the ecological park, there is a bear cub guard team to maintain order in the ecological park. The main point is that I won't indulge anyone except my cat brother. The boss of the baby bear wants to make the identity of the guard team more reasonable. He also strongly requested Dongfang Yan to make some kind of medal and grant him a position in front of all the Pokémon. Dongfang Yan thought about it again and again, and finally decided to satisfy the wishes of these little bear babies. Of course, Zoroark was also involved. Dongfang Yan was very pleased to see the baby bears lined up neatly and patrolling everywhere. And Sister Wan Wan said, "It's time to eat." Directly broke their original form. Isn't this bullying the bear? A dark shadow flew over the tree. The electric flying squirrel shuttled out from the woods. I haven't seen this guy for a long time. The electric squirrel picked up an electric Pokémon cube and started chewing it with its front teeth. But the rice only comes in a small bowl. There's nothing we can do about it, since it's an electric attribute Pokémon. The mosquito coil tadpole came over twisting and turning, following a floating jewel starfish. Forget about the ugly fish, I'll just take it away when the time comes. The Pokémon blocks of Ishiganko are also placed here, which is definitely to allow the Pokémon to exercise more. I bought a lot of these rice bowls, with different patterns and designs. The Pokémon will get their own bowls. Little C is still very obedient and practices some skills with other lily root dolls and skirt girls. They are very motivated, so Dongfang Yan specially added moo milk to these grass attribute Pokémon. Hua Bai was spinning around happily. Although it liked pollen, it had no problem changing its taste occasionally. The walking grasses also followed suit and ate with big mouthfuls, especially the one that knew how to play on the green grass field, which had been practicing on the green grass field. After all, this skill is still good. If the fruit seedlings in your own home have this skill, they should grow faster. What's more, the fruit tree seedlings have already bloomed, and Hua Bai and Dishu have been very busy recently. The mole is still loosening the soil where the fruit seedlings are, but Dongfang Yan doesn't treat it badly and gives it enough Pokémon blocks. The eldest bear baby stood there staring blankly, eating from the bowl and looking at the pot. Nidole and Pidgeot, along with some of Grandma's other Pokémon, came to eat together. 2 Popos and the highly qualified Gugu. This has to do with how strict Night Owl is towards his offspring. Under Nidole's training, he has reached level 18. The last time I was in the Moonlight Forest, I was less than level 12. That's the benefit of having a good teacher. The Pokémon cube of Rock Dog was placed in the breeding house, and it was the only Pokémon that ate all the food. The Pokémon dog was taken away to guard the house. You know what, business has been a lot better these days. But the dog's head seems a little bald. The Rock Dog is always petted by people who come in. At this stage, it is still full of curiosity. When he gets in a bad temper, you still have to discipline him properly. Sister Wan Wan taught the baby a lot about care and treatment. Xiao Tana's theoretical knowledge is constantly increasing. It turns out that professional matters should be left to professionals. There will definitely be no such effect if you switch to Eastern dialect. Chapter 107, Receiving the Orchid Mantis Flower. That Dragonite thing won't move when you ask it to move things, and it won't move when you ask it to move Pokémon cubes. Then Sister Wan Wan said, "It's time for dinner." It has already started eating. I don't know what Dongfang Yan said. I have saved a lot of reputation points recently for the lottery. With the achievement of being a little famous, his reputation value increased directly by 100,000. Add to that his original 6 reputation points and the 1 reputation points accumulated Indiana the past few days. A total of a little over 170,000 reputation points. Even the king's certificate with 50,000 reputation points can be purchased. In addition to the holy ash, there are also those extremely rare props. I can almost afford to buy 1 or 2 items in the system store. I won the water attribute Pokemon block recipe in a lottery before. Anyway, it saves reputation points. But it's very cool. Haha, now that I have money, I just want to enjoy the pleasure of being able to buy things directly. Open the system store and find the recipe for the grass attribute Pokemon block. Now most of the Pokemons in the ecological park are grass attribute Pokemons. After all, the blue mantis flower, the false mantis grass and a group of lilyroot dolls will come to the ecological park soon. There is no crowding in the ecological park, which is larger than an entire football field. These Pokemon can't find themselves no matter where they run. Normally, we use the super loudspeaker to call them to come for dinner. Of course my sister Juan doesn't need it. Or let the night owl showing off on the Rocky Mountain go find the Pokemon you want to find. It would be great if I had a mount goat. Riding it around the ecological park to patrol and wander around would be a good idea. I looked at the price and reputation value of the grass attribute Pokemon block recipe. That's it. Xiao Xi, come here and present this to me. Ding dong. System, congratulations to the host for the successful purchase. Deduct 100 reputation points for the handling fee. What? Where does the handling fee come from? Why do you charge a fee for a system? Dongfang Yan was speechless. The system had broken down again. The main thing is not to suffer any loss. I bought it, but I can't make it now because I need to take Dragonite to Moonlight Forest to pick up Orchid and the others. This is the priority. Still gotta buy some Pokeballs though. After all, there are so many Pokemon. I definitely took everything away in one backpack. Only some rare Pokemon will take the system ball away. Zoroark was captured using the system Pokeball. At that time, the Alliance can register anything they want without having to worry about the Pokeballs being messed with. The main thing is that I feel safer inside. Ever since I learned that the ranger decided by the Alliance was actually a hidden man of the Imperial Organization, Dongfang Yan had a slight distrust towards the League's officials. After all, even if you haven't eaten pork, you have seen a pig run. So there is nothing wrong with preparing in advance. Seeing that Kuai Long was still eating and drinking, Dongfang Yan told Kuai Long the time and asked him to pick him up at that time. At the same time, Slowpoke was taken away, and Zoroark stopped shouting. After all, he was enjoying his meal. Dongfang Yan took this opportunity to quickly deal with the things that needed to be prepared. Took the bus and bought 50 regular Pokeballs. Because I am a breeder and have official certification, I bought 50 Pokeballs directly without buying any advanced balls. There's no need. We'll be sleeping in the ecological park anyway, which is no more comfortable than sleeping in a Pokeball. It was mainly because of Fatty Chien. His family had connections, so many procedural issues regarding their own ecological park were directly resolved. The main focus is trust. Of course, after a while, the Alliance will send professionals to the ecological park to inspect the environment and safety hazards. I'll call you in advance when the time comes. I bought so many Pokemon balls this time mainly for emergencies. All the Pokemon balls in the ecological park are turned upside down in the attic upstairs. Except for Slowpoke's Pokeball. Each ball has its own number and each ball has its own position. It is easy to find. The breeding house has 3 floors. The first floor is the breeding house store, the second floor is the bedroom, and the third floor is the attic. Next time, we will install a security door there in case of emergency. Afraid of some thief or something. When the time comes, I'll try to get a Pokemon to watch over it. Just treat it as going to work and get paid when the time comes. After all, this kind of thing can be done in turns. The aptitude tester is almost here. When the time comes, it will be installed directly in the Yunao breeding house. There is also the tree fruit Pokemon block making machine. Dongfang Yan found that these things are quite important after coming back this time. All the delicious fruit seeds brought back from the Moonlight Forest have been planted. Once the fruit tree seedlings bloom, they will bear their first fruit. Dongfang Yan was not too worried, mainly because Hua Bei was there. She knew how to take care of flowers. As long as she got enough nutrition, no matter how many flowers bloomed, there would be fruits. I have already bought the Pokemon Cube manufacturing machine, so I can make more when the time comes. I was carrying a backpack, but I didn't bring the iron pot with me, mainly because it was unnecessary. And there is still some psychological trauma. Dongfang Yan's backpack is almost entirely filled with pokeballs. There is still some food in the backpack, so I will be back soon from the Moonlight Forest this time. I have also told Grandma Lan in advance. Dongfang Yan was waiting on the roadside with the Pokémon encyclopedia in hand, brushing up on his knowledge of breeders. Drib. The sound of a car was heard behind us. Dongfang Yan looked back. Hey, young man, we meet again. Come on in the car, and this time I'll tell you how I used my charm to conquer the female gardevoir. A taxi stopped by the roadside and the uncle stuck his head out. Ah, it's you, taxi driver. No need, my friend is here to pick you up. Dongfang Yan quickly replied. To be honest, this guy has caused himself some psychological trauma. He talks too much. Last time, I forced myself to go to sleep, and then I woke up and was still talking. Haha, you have an appointment, right? It's okay, have fun. After saying that, the taxi driver drifted away from the spot. The god of cars in Akina Mountain? Dongfang Yan watched the taxi driver drift away in a lightning-fast manner. I can't describe my driving skills. It seemed to be the same last time. The car was very stable all the way without any bumps while I was sleeping. Dongfang Yan was just about to squat down to continue reading this related knowledge. Which stone balls should be washed with water or sand? Dongfang Yan has always used water for washing. Mainly because I watched an anime on TV before, there was a trainer who wanted to train his Pokémon to not be affected by attribute restraint, so he deliberately made his Pokémon a pangolin. Swimming in the water, the little idiot couldn't stand it anymore, so he had a fight with them, and was beaten. Although my training is not as perverted as in the anime. It's okay to take a shower at regular times. Then just go dig some sand. The main dish is a combination of meat and vegetables. Hurry up. The sound of Dragonite came from the sky. Dongfang Yan looked up and saw that the driver had arrived. Chapter 108, Digging for the Sunstone. Feta flew over after having eaten and drunk his fill. Dongfang Yan looked at Dragonite with a bulging belly. No, you really came here just to eat and drink your fill. Dragonite rolled his eyes. Signal Dongfang Yan to come up and stop complaining. Come on, he is the boss. Sitting on Dragonite, he flew at high speed into the depths of the forest. As a forest street skater, he knows exactly where to go. Dongfang Yan arrived at the agreed location. It was quiet nearby, so Dragonite lay down and prepared to take a nap. No, Dragonite, you are a pig, why are you so tired? You are still sleeping in the forest. What if you are attacked by other Pokémon? Dragonite scratched his butt. Just when Dongfang Yan was about to release Slowpoke, a figure appeared behind Dongfang Yan. Dongfang Yan is becoming more and more sensitive to crisis situations and his own awareness. He turned around suddenly and grabbed it. Mantis. Lan Mantis used her arm sickle to block. Looking at Dongfang Yan in confusion. He stared at Dongfang Yan with sharp eyes. Hey, why didn't you tell me you were here? I'm so embarrassed. Lan Mantis rolled her eyes intelligently. Mantis. Lan Mantis cried out. A few false mantises suddenly appeared nearby. A few more lily root dolls and skirt ladies appeared near the bushes. Damn, a pretender. Look at these Pokémon around. Hello you all. Dongfang Yan greeted them with a giggle. Then he took 2 bags of grass attribute Pokémon cubes from the system space. Dongfang Yan tore open the package, and the fragrant aroma wafted out immediately. The false mantis sniffed the branch and began to drool for unknown reasons. Eat it. Dongfang Yan put on a kind look and looked at the lily root doll nearby. Lily root doll took it with some hesitation and ate a piece. Lily root doll tastes. What? The lily root doll showed a happy expression with a hint of surprise. Dongfang Yan looked at the lily root doll confidently. Are you kidding? How could the system's product be so simple? Dongfang Yan turned around. The pseudo-mantis grass has surrounded Dongfang Yan. Looking at Dongfang Yan eagerly. Lan Mantis covered her head with her hands. Why are these little guys so unvigilant? Lan Mantis watched Dongfang Yan give the Pokémon present a taste of the Pokémon Cube. I'm not saying it's stingy, I'm just saying it's a bad thing in the current situation. Not a good place or time to eat. Mantis. After watching all the Pokémon eat the Pokémon Cubes, Lan Mantis began to urge Dongfang Yan to quickly take out the means of transportation. Dongfang Yan was looking at the colorful orchid mantis flowers and gesturing something. I don't seem to understand. Dongfang Yan looked at the grass attribute Pokémon block in his hand. Oh, I see. Lan Mantis saw that Dongfang Yan understood her thoughts and finally breathed a sigh of relief. It was better not to let down her guard in the forest. Dongfang Yan took out the only grass attribute Pokémon cube left in the bag and stuffed it into Lan Mantis's mouth. Lan Mantis flower. Dongfang Yan, hey, isn't it delicious? It tastes good, right? This is my exclusive secret recipe. The blue mantis waved its sickle weakly. For the first time, it felt powerless against a human being. While chewing the grass attribute Pokémon cube, Lan Mantis signaled Dongfang Yan how to deal with these Pokémon. I didn't understand Dongfang Yan at first, but now I understand it. Without further ado, he took out Slowpoke's exclusive Pokeball and released it. Stop. Then, Dongfang Yan took it back. Stay. Dongfang Yan released Slowpoke again, and then took it back to Slowpoke. Lan Mantis just looked at Dongfang Yan like that. Dongfang Yan looked at Lan Mantis flower with great pride, as if waiting for praise. Lan Tanghua didn't know what to say. Okay, just follow his lead. Don't resist too much when you come in, just accept it calmly. Dongfang Yan quickly explained. The Pokémon here also counted themselves. There is only one blue mantis flower, 3 mist skirts, 6 lily root dolls, and 9 pseudo mantis grasses. I can only say that the orchid mantis flower is really working hard. All these cubs were born by it. Come on, come here. Dongfang Yan took out an ordinary red and white ball, clicked a button, and touched the pseudo mantis's head. This matter still requires a role model. A red light flashed, and the pseudo mantis was collected into the ordinary red and white ball. Watching the ordinary red and white ball shaking on the ground, Dongfang Yan didn't know why he suddenly felt a little nervous. Boom! A white flash of light suddenly appeared. It represents the success of conquering. Dongfang Yan picked up the Pokeball. Yes. Come out. False mantis. A red light flashed. Mantis. The false mantis came out unscathed, striking a few small poses. Seeing the vigorous appearance of the pseudo mantis grass, Lan Mantis finally felt relieved. What follows is the boring scene of successful capture. Since there is already a case of pseudo mantis, the other Pokémon have no intention of resisting. Of course, a few of the lily root dolls were a little shy or nervous, so they were not successfully conquered. But it doesn't matter, I brought enough Pokeballs this time. 50 Pokeballs are a joke. Lan Mantis was the only one left on the field. Dongfang Yan took out the Pokeball and looked at Lan Mantis. Lan Mantis walked forward and touched the button himself. Then a white flash of light suddenly appeared. Dongfang Yan's eyes were almost melted by the flash. It turns out that this thing feels a bit like electric welding after looking at it for a long time. Having said that, after such a long time, it is indeed difficult to see Pokémon of different colors. I've been walking in the forest for so long, don't even think about anything strange. The Quasi-God has one by his side. Although it is not his own Pokémon, it is still a friend after all. Dongfang Yan had no particular intention of conquering it. And Dragonite has become accustomed to this kind of free and easy life and doesn't want his life to be restricted. So actually, Dragonite stayed in the ecological park mainly to observe whether the Celebi sapling had the environment to survive. In today's observations, Dragonite did nothing but eat. After all, the environment provided by the system is really nothing to say. Kui Long was naturally relieved, but he also told himself, I'm just staying here for a while, and then I'll go out traveling. After all, the forest is worthy of its reputation. It wouldn't be that Celebi's guardian companions all have the desire to wander around. After putting the Lan Mantis into the Pokeball, the goal of coming here today has been achieved. Dongfang Yan looked at the sky. It seemed like there was still time. Otherwise, try your luck at that cliff and see if you can get any goods. The Sunstone is indeed not very common. For so many lily root dolls in the ecological park, this is just a drop in the bucket. Although you can redeem it using the system, there is no need to do so. Why bother using reputation points when you can get it for free? Chapter 109. Dongfang Yan took the reluctant Dragonite to the cliff. Although I haven't been there. But Dragonite said there was nothing on it. Although I was very curious, I didn't have the ability to fly, so I didn't go up. Looking at the cliff in front of me, I didn't expect that there are greener mountains and higher buildings beyond the mountains, and I thought I was already standing at the highest point. I didn't expect that when I looked up, there was a higher place. Dongfang Yan took out a small shovel from the side of his backpack. This thing was bought on Pingsaduo. What is it mainly used for? Dongfang Yan held a small shovel and said, It really seems to be of no use. Dongfang Yan lay on the ground, using a shovel to dig at the rocks and soil beneath my feet. Because Dongfang Yan didn't dare to dig on the cliff. If something fell from the sky and hit his head, wouldn't that be courting death? For your own safety, try digging under your feet. The space in the attic is quite large, so some props are also placed in it. The unchanging stone that I drew is still useless. Although it is a purple item, there is no need to use it now. There are no suitable Pokémon. Dongfang Yan was thinking while digging. Kuai Long was looking at Dongfang Yan boredly from the side. This thing is not just a broken stone, there is nothing to dig. It would be better to go to the ecological park and have a good rest. Wouldn't that be more comfortable? As Dongfang Yan dug, he found something hard. Hey, I found something. Dongfang Yan began to clean the dirt around the thing. After a long time, I finally cleaned it up. Looking at the thing in front of him, Dongfang Yan took it out carefully. Based on my intuition, this must be a big deal. Wipe off the mud on it. Okay, next one. Dongfang Yan threw it aside. It's just an ordinary ore. I give up. When the time comes, give it to Pang Yan monsters as a snack. After all, you've already dug it up, so don't spend money to buy it again. Dongfang Yan thought about it, and then continued digging for a long time, and finally dug out a piece of ore the size of a basketball. Although I don't know the types of ore. But it is big. This is the largest ore I have dug out in recent times. There is no sunstone here. I have been digging this ground for so long, but I have seen nothing but mud and ore. Dongfang Yan complained. Kuai Long really couldn't bear to watch it anymore. Another lightning punch hit the soil behind Dongfang Yan's buttocks directly. Then he stretched out his claws and opened them. Sunstone. Dongfang Yan. So this thing has always been behind me. Kuai Long didn't know what to say. Dongfang Yan looked at the Pokémon encyclopedia. It's almost time. Get out those Pokeballs, shrink them down and pack them away. The ore is placed at the bottom. The Pokeball is placed on top. It's not good to be afraid of crushing it all of a sudden. When the time comes, all the objects thrown from high altitudes will be Pokémon. That would be embarrassing. Riding on Dragonite, Dongfang Yan and the weight of the ore left Dragonite speechless. Because the backpack was too heavy, he just put it on Dragonite. Soon, Dragonite took Dongfang Yan and flew towards home. All in all, this trip was very normal, without any of the previous bloody dramas. This is also a good improvement. The roar of a helicopter sounded above. Su Shija was accompanied by two talented people, Crouching Dragon and Phoenix Chick. At the same time, Alakazam is followed by a rogue crocodile. The two guys, Crouching Dragon and Phoenix Chu, managed to escape with great difficulty because they were in the Moonlight Forest. So he rewarded each of them with a better Pokémon. Wolong is a big crab. Feng Chu kept chattering about wanting to eat it. He was beaten up by Wolong. The fat guy Feng Chu also has a Pokémon given by the organization. Wrist strength. Wolong is a little envious of Feng Chu, and Feng Chu is a little envious of Wolong. As expected, Crouching Dragon and Phoenix Chick. Just kidding, these two people are going crazy. Speaking of which, there are finally new Pokémon. Really, Tai cool. Su Shija didn't want to see the two of them looking so naive. At this time, the plane stopped above Su Shija. A powerful cyclone blew on Su Shija's face. But he was used to it. You have no idea how strong the wind was when we were being chased by Mewtwo before. He and Alakazam were still teleporting. At the end, I almost vomited. At this time, a sexy lady with a hot body came out from the plane. Wearing a pair of sunglasses and having short hair, she looks very heroic and is a woman who exudes charm anytime and anywhere. She was looking down at Su Shija. He smiled and said, "The prey always appears as prey." Just as he finished speaking, he threw a Pokémon Ultra Ball downwards. Then he leaped forward and jumped down. Madman! Su Shijin knew that this kind of woman was a rose with thorns. It's true that she's charming, but she can also kill you at the critical moment. Pokémon Ultra Ball suddenly opened. A red light shone everywhere. Flying Dragon. A dragon-shaped Pokémon that walks on 4 legs appears. The Tyrannosaurus has 2 gorgeous blood-red wings and a long tail. Full of oppression. I am so excited to see these 2 talented people, Crouching Dragon and Phoenix. He kept muttering to himself, wondering why the organization didn't give him such a powerful Pokémon. Then the 2 of them continued to comfort him, saying that they should raise their own Pokémon. Then we will beat the Drago Knight. Hunter J took off his backpack and put away the Pokeball. Just look at Su Shijin like this. Your organization sent me to help you. I hope you won't hold me back. Then he looked at Su Shijin and said, of course, this operation still depends on you, Scorpion. Su Shijin smiled. He waved his mechanical prosthesis. Of course not, but I still hope you can take care of those rangers. As he spoke, Su Shijin brought 2 Pokémon, as well as Crouching Dragon and Phoenix Chick. Be the first to leave this place. Humph, they really don't know how to be gentle with women. They started fighting as soon as they got here. Dragon King Scorpion, come out. Use the cross poison blade. Hunter J took out another advanced ball. After releasing the King Scorpion, he took command of the battle. The Dragon King Scorpion looked at the figure of the Forest Ranger, and a bloodthirsty light flashed in its eyes. Use the poison claws in front of both hands and merge them together. This pair of poisonous claws is not only extremely poisonous, but also extremely powerful. After merging together, the speed under my feet suddenly accelerated. Catch up with the approaching ranger at a very fast speed. Seeing that the situation was not good, the ranger immediately threw out a Pokeball. Shield Shield. A Pokémon was released, and immediately parried it. It actually blocked it. What the hell is this? Hunter J looked at the familiar Pokémon that looked a little familiar, feeling a little confused. Chapter 110. Breeding House. Let me think, I saw it a few days ago. Looking at the shield-shaped Pokémon in front of him, Hunter J clapped his hands violently. A city guard dragon, right? I caught a few days ago, and sold them for quite a bit of money. The ranger looked at Hunter J and asked loudly, who are you? The prosecutors from the Alliance are coming soon. Why don't you surrender now? Hunter J smiled. The people of the Huguo Alliance are still so ridiculous, so idiotic. Hunter J threw out another super ball, Dragon Storm, destroy the beam. The moment the Drago Knight appeared, it quickly opened its mouth and white light gathered. Boom! The ranger didn't have time to react and was hit by the light directly, and the Ankylosaurus disappeared along with him. Looking at the open space in front that was shot out by the destructive light. All the vegetation was destroyed. Wherever the destructive light reaches, there is darkness. Hunter J adjusted his sunglasses disdainfully. Looking at the direction Su Shijin left, he turned around, rode on Drago Knight, and put the Drago Knight back into the Pokeball. Su Shijin stood on a tree and looked at Hunter J in the distance. Still so crazy, doing things without considering the consequences. Let's go, we have other things to do. After all, the people from the Alliance will probably be here soon. Looking at the Crouching Dragon and the Phoenix Chick behind him, Su Shijin walked away. Crouching Dragon and Phoenix Chick responded and left as well. Moment. A group of people wearing Alliance insignia arrived. Looking at the destroyed light and the destroyed venue. Captain, we found something. An Alliance investigator wearing gloves and holding an arm badge. The man in the hat in front took it and looked at it. It's the Ranger's logo. Looking at the ruins of the surrounding area, the man in the hat knew that the Ranger was probably in great danger. Go and ask them to send more people to patrol this place on a large scale. Roger that. There are more and more evil spirits these days. The man in the hat rubbed his hands. No more words. Cloud Breeding House. Haha, Grandma Lan, your place is getting better and better. Back then, when we came here, it was still a small shop. There was laughter and joy in the Yunao Breeding House. Sister Wan Wan is introducing the Pokemon eggs in Yunai's breeding house to people. Grandma Lan was chatting with the family of 3. That is the family that took Ishiwenzi away. Sister Wan Wan had visited there once before. Shiwenzi lived a very good life there. The little boy also wanted to cultivate Ishiwenzi seriously. This time, I mainly heard that something happened to Dongfang Yan. He also heard that Grandma Lan had returned, so he hurried over. On the one hand, no money was given. On the other hand, I came to visit Grandma Lan. And what about Eastern dialects? At this moment, we have introduced the orchid mantis to the ecological park. The other Pokémon were a little confused, but it wasn't a big problem. Miss Skirt and the lily root dolls were very happy. Little C was very happy to see his old friends. Lan Tanghua felt relieved when she saw that her family was healthy. Then he looked around. It's really good. Dragonite took a bath in the lake and then went ashore to sleep. It is completely at the opposite end of the spectrum from the night owl, and it is unknown whether the night owl has ever slept or not. One of them is sleeping at first glance. Dongfang Yan first explained it clearly to Lan Tanghua. Don't bully weak Pokémon. Continue to teach your children well. There is nothing else in the ecological park except food. Enough food. Lan Mantis did not feel any resistance to these words. Nodded. Then follow the ladies in skirts to the homes they have decorated. Then a large group of false mantises followed suit. No one knows what the big bear cub and a group of other bear cubs are plotting. Dongfang Yan also knew that these guys were not holding back their farts. But there is no way. It's just planning, the crime hasn't been committed yet. Wandered around the ecological park. Several training devices were installed. Mainly focusing on speed, strength, and destructive power. Something like a treadmill, but with dodgeballs shooting out the front. The Pokémon are trying to pull to the limit. There are also weightlifting equipment. I buy this kind of things less frequently, after all, you can lift Pokémon with it. The destructive equipment is something like a sandbag, and the cat climbing frame that was previously drawn in the system lottery is still indestructible. Soroya and the baby bears had no idea how many teeth marks and scratches were left on it. Bobo and Gugu have also used skills such as grabbing on it. Seeing that they were so fond of this thing, I simply bought a few. Although the cat climbing frame did not play the role it should have, it was almost okay, and its other functions seemed to be even greater. These equipments are installed behind the rock mountain. After all, it is not difficult to install, just put it there. As for destructive equipment, just let the mole dig a hole and place the equipment directly in there. The qualification measurement device is also installed in the Yunao breeding house. The Pokémon service area in the breeding house has been receiving questions about when people can bring their Pokémon to try and experience it. Dongfang Yan also didn't know why the system set up such a thing here. However, I also brought Rock Dog and Slowpoke in to experience it. In fact, it is similar to the bathing service in the pet shop in the previous life, giving the Pokémon a full body massage. And hair management. Some wealthy people from Yangcheng came here to visit several times. First of all, the decoration is very good. Then he asked when the area would open. How can Dongfang Yan know these? All we can say is that it is open, and we will notify them when the time comes. In fact, when Grandma Lan came back, she was also shocked by the changes in Yunai's breeding house. But later I accepted it. It is similar in style to the previous store, but more exquisite, more luxurious, and more fascinating. Especially the tree in the middle of the breeding house and the wind chime on it. Grandma Lan was very impressed by this design and said it was indeed very good. However, only the breeding house, which is the first floor, was renovated. The 2 floors above remained unchanged and remain the same. So Grandma Lan was very impressed by this transformation. Jingle bell. Dongfang Yan wiped the sweat off his forehead and looked at the fruit seedlings that were growing vigorously. The flowers had already begun to wither. It means the result will be soon. The seeds brought from the moonlit forest have begun to sprout. Sometimes I come here to train on the green grass field. Dongfang Yan would come here from time to time to buy a bag of fertilizer from the system store and then spread a few handfuls. He caught the slowpoke and watered it. It really grows fast. As for the celebi sapling, there was no reaction after it was planted. The Pokémon encyclopedia suddenly rang. Dongfang Yan picked up the Pokémon encyclopedia and said, "What's wrong? Can you please go to the front desk?" "Okay, right away." Chapter 111. Daily life in the breeding house. What happened? Dongfang Yan came to the breeding house. Grandma Lan was chatting with the little boy. Uncle Li and Sister Zhang were chatting. Uncle Li suddenly turned around and looked at Dongfang Yan, who came out of the front desk door. He came over excitedly. Sister Zhang also turned around and came over with the same excitement. "Hey, Boss Xiao Yan, you left this time." "Oh no, you disappeared. Oh no, you went out for something. Uncle Li's speech system was in disarray and Sister Zhang grabbed his ears. It was not easy to express what I wanted to say. Thank you for your concern, thank you for your concern. Dongfang Yan replied politely. We saw the news about your accident and our whole family was very worried, but at least nothing happened. Sister Zhang held Dongfang Yan's hand and said. Don't worry about this guy, he's very smart. You don't need to call him little boss, just call him Xiao Yan. Grandma Lan came over with Ibrahimovic in her arms. Ahaha. Dongfang Yan could only smile awkwardly. Grandma Lan gave Dongfang Yan a look and let him figure it out for himself. Dongfang Yan also knew that what happened last time had indeed scared his grandma. This is my only relative. A group of people stood there and chatted for a long time. Dongfang Yan followed Sister Wan Wan to deal with the Pokémon eggs stored under the stairs. To be honest, this place is still a bit too small. There's not enough space for things. The Pokémon eggs that have been sold out need to be refilled. The sales of Pokémon eggs are also average, after all, not everyone comes here every day. Ishiwanza came over again, and the little boy followed. Dongfang Yan had just placed the Pokémon eggs. Look at each person in a Pokémon. What's wrong? Brother Yan, can you take me to see Xiaodan's parents? The boy looked at Dongfang Yan and said. Dongfang Yan was a little confused, what's your name? And why do you want to meet its parents? No, Brother Yan, you still don't know my name after all this time. Dongfang Yan was a little embarrassed because he really didn't know. My name is Li Xingxin. What, stars? Twinkle, twinkle little star. Dongfang Yan was puzzled. Why did Sister Zhang and Uncle Li choose such a strange name? No, it's Xingxin. I know, the stars. Dongfang Yan was speechless. It's not like he hasn't received any education, so why should he ask? He must know the answer. Brother Yan, I dare say that the stars you are talking about are definitely different from my Xingxin. Dongfang Yan confidently wrote down Li Xingxing's name. Ahoy! Yes, we don't want this money either. You guys spent so much money in our breeding house, and Xiaodan got along so well with Li Xingxin. Just think of it as me giving him a starter Pokémon. Dongfang Yan looked at Uncle Li and Sister Zhang and said. Since you have decided to develop like Professor Oak, you must be like him in all aspects. Provide starting Pokémon to new trainers. Provide a place for traveling trainers to store their Pokémon. There's also Pokémon rescue and so on, a whole series of things. These are all goals that you can develop yourself. Really? That's so embarrassing. Uncle Li and Sister Zhang held Dongfang Yan's hand and said to Grandma Lan. Grandma Lan shook her head. These are my grandson's ideas. It can be seen that Grandma Lan also agrees with Dongfang Yan's idea. If things continue like this, there will be some pressure on funding and other aspects. Dr. Oak has its own industrial chain. Now I can only make Pokémon blocks. Although this thing is very popular, it cannot instantly satisfy the consumption of Pokémon in the ecological park. Multiple outputs are required. But it is enough for now. Because I haven't participated in the lottery in recent days, there are not many Pokémon blocks in the system lottery. There are quite a few unused Pokémon blocks accumulated. The water attribute Pokémon block in my house is made by myself. Several waves of people came just now, asking if there are any water attribute Pokémon blocks. There must not be many of this stuff. I made more than a dozen Pokémon cubes overnight yesterday, but they were sold out as soon as they were put on the shelves today. Those who didn't win the prize in the last draw gave the Pokémon cube. Or give it to friends, and those people find that their Pokémon love to eat it. And there was a rich lady who gave a few pieces to her beloved Mary Lou with the attitude of giving it a try. Who knew Mary Lou loved to eat so much? The rich sister originally wanted to eat it as a snack. Who knew that after eating it for a few days, Mary Lou's hair became even more lustrous? When I take them out to play and meet other rich girls, and compare their Pokémon with my own, the feeling is just different. It seems to be just a little better looking. This time it's a huge mess, and they come to the breeding house every day to report. Dongfang Yan had been missing for a while before, and Sister Tuhao was a little disappointed and upset. She finally found a store that she loved very much, Mary Lou. The owner is gone. What a joke, but luckily nothing happened afterwards. The rich sister is here to check in every day again. Open the door. Ring ring ring. The sound of wind chimes rang out, and everyone subconsciously looked at the door. As soon as the rock dog raised its head, it was touched on the head and then fed a rock attribute Pokémon block. Long time no see, rock dog. The rock dog stuck out its tongue happily and wagged its tail. Dongfang Yan looked at Yango with a dog-licking look. I cursed Yango in my heart for being so useless and being bought off by a little favor. You must be the store manager. The rich sister who was dressed very fashionably looked at Dongfang Yan and said. Then extend one hand as if to shake hands. Dongfang Yan looked at his 5 fingers, which were all covered with gold, silver, and jewels. It can be seen that the family background is very deep. The other hand has not been revealed yet. Hello. Dongfang Yan could only stretch out his hand and shake it gently. Uncle Li and Sister Zhang saw that there were business coming. Didn't stay too long. After buying some minerals that Dongfang Yan brought back from the Moonlight Forest, he took Li Xingxin away. Looking at Li Xingxin, I remembered taking him to the ecological park just now. The ecological park is larger than an entire football field, including the spectator seats. Li Xingxin was really shocked. It looked huge from the outside, but I didn't expect it to be even bigger inside. A few false mantises suddenly came out and ran around, looking very excited. The other Pokémon were nowhere to be seen. After all, the ecological park is so large and scattered in various places that it is difficult to find those Pokémon without careful search. Without the help of the Super Thunderbolt, it would be really difficult to find the Pokémon. Of course, except for meals. In fact, not only will they directly supply the Pokémon blocks. There are also some flowering trees in the ecological park. It means that there might be results by then. This is a very good sign. With Li Xingxin, who had his mouth open all the way and looked like he had never seen the world, they headed to the cave under the rocky mountain. Chapter 112. Daily Life. Li Xingxin followed Dongfang Yan into the cave and looked at the cave with the dim light of the Pokémon Atlas. The main reason why Dongfang Yan wanted to create a sense of atmosphere. That's it. Li Xingxin looked at the dark environment around her and held Dongfang Yan's hand tightly. Young man, as a Pokémon trainer, you must have courage and the determination to not be afraid of crisis. Dongfang Yan educated him, then turned around and looked at the fox face with its tongue sticking out and eyes rolling. I'll wipe it. What is that? What is that? Brother Xiao Yan, don't scare me. Dongfang Yan looked closely. Zoroark stood on the head of the bear cub boss, and the 3 Pokémon stacked up to form an Arhut. This guy feels uncomfortable if he doesn't cause trouble every day. But now is not the time to use your hands. There are outsiders here, so it's not easy for Zoroark to be exposed. Fortunately, there was no light and Li Xingxin couldn't see anything. Zoro is quite smart. Dongfang Yan had told it before not to expose its appearance casually. Zoro just wanted to scare Dongfang Yan. After being scared, he transformed into the appearance of a big bear cub, with a crooked mouth and a grin. With the help of the dim light, Li Xingxin saw 3 baby bears stacked on top of each other. Brother Xiao Yan, you have trained this Pokémon very well. It can even perform such difficult moves. Dongfang Yan looked at the 2 bear cubs and Zoroark. Of course, these Pokémon are very smart. Dongfang Yan gritted his teeth as he spoke. Who understands? I was just educating new people. I am so embarrassed. After driving the 3 noisy Pokémon out of the cave, Dongfang Yan took Li Xingxin and continued to go down. Finally, inside the cave, we saw a male giant rock monster exercising. Since they are high-voltage Pokémon, I bought a pressure booster to train them or exercise them. After all, living in an ecological park will inevitably reduce disputes. Unless you take them out to fight. However, in order to improve their practical skills, they will definitely be arranged to compete. The male Pangean monster looked at the little egg in surprise. He felt quite guilty about giving the cub away after raising it for only a short time. Pang Pang! Pang Yangwei called out to his wife. Looking deeper inside, a female Pangean monster walked out. I was also very happy to see Ziodan, whom I hadn't seen for a long time. At this time, Li Xingxin walked forward and bowed to Pang Yan and his wife. I am the trainer of Little Egg. I will take good care of Little Egg. I hope you can entrust Little Egg to me. I will definitely train Little Egg well. This was the first time that the Pang Yanga couple had encountered such a situation, but out of trust in Dongfang Yan and their recognition of this human child. I also listened to Xiao Shiwenzi talking about her life outside. Talk about how Li Xingxin's family takes care of themselves. Pang Yangwei and his wife were no longer worried. So he nodded and agreed with Li Xingxin's words. Seeing that Xiao Shiwen's parents also recognized him, Li Xingxin jumped up excitedly. He turned around a few times holding the small stone ball. Of course I didn't throw it out, for fear it would break. After communicating with the strange couple Pang Yan, he was about to run away with Li Xingxin. Pang Yan called out to Dongfang Yan again. What's wrong? Dongfang Yan looked at Pang Yangwei in confusion. It was really hard to see clearly in the dark cave. Pang Yangwei signaled Dongfang Yan to follow it. So I walked a little further inside. Pang Yangwei suddenly stopped and motioned Dongfang Yan to look down. Dongfang Yan just looked down obediently. The 4 stone ball Pokémon eggs are neatly arranged. No, you guys are so productive. Among the children born to Pang Yanga, the first 2 with the highest qualifications were stone balls. One was given to Fatty Chien, and the level has reached 19. It is a strong characteristic. Among the few Pokémon that Dongfang Yan has left, some of the stone balls still have the shattered armor attribute. Reduce defensive acceleration. Tell me, what's the point of adding all this speed? The speed of eating has increased a lot. As for the rest, nothing was found. However, when it evolves into a giant rock monster, all 3 characteristics are very good. Strong, sand raising, the power of sand. There's not much to say about these 3. He still had AC level stone ball left, which was only level 17 now. The upgrade speed is still not as fast as the specially cultivated Pokémon. The aptitude of the Pokémon that Li Xingxin brought was not particularly high, but D-level aptitude was the starting level of most trainers' Pokémon. Because everyone is not stupid, they all want Pokémon with high qualifications. There are indeed very few trainers with E-level qualifications, but of course there are some. Some young trainers, when they meet a Pokémon they really like in the wild, or if they really like 2 Pokémon, they will capture it as their first Pokémon. There is nothing to say about something that is consensual. These 4 Pokémon eggs can be hatched in an incubator when the time comes. This is safe and secure, there is no need to worry about damage, and you can also find out when it hatches. But before that, let's send Li Xingxin out first. Brother Xiao Yan, did the Pang Yan monster couple have a baby? It's none of your business, it's not your child. No, I'm just curious. Dongfang Yan ignored Li Xingxin's words and just took Li Xingxin outside. Just kidding, he is curious, and I am curious too. The last time, I took Pang Yanga out to fight. No matter whether he won or lost, I would prepare a nutritious meal package for his wife. Later I went out to buy things, such as fruits and so on. Then after a few days, the baby born by Pang Yan monster hatched. It's really fast. This time it was different. At least I saw the eggs. I had never seen Pokémon eggs before. After I went back, I found a few more stone balls. After taking Li Xingxin out of the ecological park, Li Xingxin was also fascinated by the scenery of the ecological park, as well as the bobo, night owl, pidgeot, etc. flying in the sky. There is also a stack of baby bears. A few false mantises flashed by. Now, even after Li Xingxin was released, she still can't forget about it. Then he kept talking about the various scenes in the ecological park. This made Uncle Li and Sister Zhang both want to go in and take a look. But I was too embarrassed to speak up. Until another person came in at the door. A woman who is fashionably dressed and adorned with gold and silver. Rich sister. As soon as the rich sister came in, she touched the dog's head. The rock dog is acting like a dog licker. This is the scene where the rich sister came in earlier. After shaking hands with Dongfang Yan, I said hello to Sister Wan Wan again. Sister Wan Wan has been dealing with her these days. Seeing that more business had come in, Sister Zhang and Uncle Li felt embarrassed to continue disturbing them, so they took Li Xingxin and left. And Li Xingxin is still obsessed with the scenes in the ecological park. Talking in a jumbled manner. Uncle Li and Sister Zhang could only listen carefully. Then he looked back at the super huge protective cover behind the Yunai breeding house. Oh, this kid is so excited, but is it really that good inside? Uncle Li and Sister Zhang were thinking silently in their hearts. Chapter 113. Cooperation. Grandma Lan left for something. Sister Wan Wan also went to prepare lunch for the Pokémon in the ecological park. Several groups of guests left the breeding house, leaving only Dongfang Yan and Tuhao sister. Hello. It's okay. I came to see you several times before. You're not home. The rich sister rubbed the ring on her hand and said with a bit of resentment. The rich sister's appearance is enviable. Due to family reasons, she must have no worries about food and clothing. She is fair and clean, but her temperament is not as good as Luo Sheng who came last time. His appearance is also a little worse than Luo Sheng's. However, the two of them cannot be completely compared. Luo Sheng is about the same age as himself, while Fang Shihi is the type of wealthy queen. The purpose of her visit this time was to invest in the breeding house and ecological park opened by Dongfang Yan. As a successful investor, she has a clear understanding and in-depth research on the prospects of breeding houses and ecological parks. She understood the market prospects of this Pokémon cube. She has very strong confidence in the Dongfang Yan family's assets. She is not just a rich second generation. Excuse me, what's your name? Oh, I am sorry. My name is Fang Shihi. My father owns a department store in Yongyuan City and a quarry somewhere else. Dongfang Yan was a little puzzled. I guess I don't need to tell myself this. I know you must think what I said is a bit strange. Dongfang Yan laughed a little guiltily. My thoughts were actually guessed. What I mean is that I can help you shoulder some of the burden, such as money. It seems that you can't support opening such a large ecological park and relying on the income from the breeding house. I calculated that even if you still have some savings, the consumption of the eco park is far greater than the income of the breeding house. You can only hold on for a month, and it has been a month since the eco park was built. So, I came here this time to discuss with you about investing and cooperating. Fang Shihi said confidently. Based on my own observations and analysis over the past few days. In most cases, the owner of this breeding house will agree to your request. After all, it is a win-win scenario for both parties. I want to have 46 points with the owner of the breeding house, with 4 for me and 6 for the other. Of course, if the owner of the breeding house is too greedy, his bottom line is only 37 points. No matter what, I have to get this investment myself. Dongfang Yan was a little surprised. This rich girl doesn't look like a vase, there is something real inside her. Sister Fang, your proposal really surprised me. Dongfang Yan said with a smile, a glimmer of appreciation in his eyes. Because she is really awesome, she almost forgot about these things. When her grandmother asks about it, she will find that not much money has been spent, but the ecological park has continued to develop. She will definitely be suspicious. This time, Dongfang Yan was reminded, and the same goes for the Pokémon cube. It seems that he can't take out those Pokémon cubes casually in the future. I always thought you were just an ordinary white, rich, and beautiful girl, but now it seems that Sister Fang, you are really amazing. Your understanding of investment and business is far beyond my imagination. Fang Shihi couldn't help laughing when she saw Dongfang Yan speaking in an air of adulthood. She paused and continued, I have also done in-depth research on the prospects of breeding houses and ecological parks. I believe this project will be successful. It's a win-win situation, I can get you through this difficult time, and I can also make a profit from it. Dongfang Yan thought for a while after listening to Fang Shihi's words. Thank you for your concern, Sister Fang. However, I don't need your financial support. I'm afraid you don't believe me, but I have enough funds to support the operation of the ecological park. Fang Shihi smiled slightly, thinking that Dongfang Yan was really confident. I don't know if it's a joke or what, but it's possible if there's funding, after all, other people can see this situation. However, you still need to ask clearly. Oh, do you have some external support, or do you have enough money? Dongfang Yan had no choice but to make up a story, but he didn't expect the woman to keep asking. The main reason is that this ecological park was established through the introduction of an acquaintance, so the initial investment is relatively small. Moreover, we want to carry out reforms, not just sell young Pokémons. So, Dongfang Yan briefly told Fang Shihi about his idea of becoming an ecological park like Professor Oak that provides initial Pokémon and can foster other people's Pokémon, as well as converting all the surrounding land into the territory of the ecological park. Fang Shihi nodded slightly, indicating that he agreed with Dongfang Yan's words, but it was just admiration. As a businessman, from a businessman's perspective, this was stupid. From an ordinary person's perspective, this is beneficial to the people. This breaks the monopoly of the rich on high-quality Pokémon. And some orphans, some people from difficult families. You can have a chance to be reborn. After listening to Dongfang Yan's words, Fang Shihi, who was good at this kind of thing, thought about it for a while, and then she added, I have some innovative ideas that can further enhance the value of the breeding house and the ecological park and make this innovation more eye-catching. Fang Shihi's eyes sparkled with excitement, as if he had already seen the future success of the ecological park and the breeding house. But this made Dongfang Yan at a loss again. No, you didn't succeed in the cooperation, why are you still so excited? But I didn't want to spoil other people's fun, so I asked, for example. For example? That's too many. You can organize battles for the new trainers who receive their initial Pokémon to fight against each other, so that people outside can be aware of the existence of this place. You can also charge a reasonable registration fee and allow outsiders to fight against the trainers of the original Pokémon in the ecological park. The winner can be given a discount card or the water attribute Pokémon cube produced in your breeding house. You can also take this opportunity to win over those poor rookie trainers. In the future, they will only have one person who succeeds, and that person will be your connection. Also, there are Pokémon shows, various competitions, etc. There are so many plans that can be implemented. You really have such a good hand, but there has been no movement until now. What's more, after this series of operations, the development of the ecological park will have no funding problems. Fang Shi rolled his eyes at Dongfang Yan. Dongfang Yan was already surprised. What a genius! Why didn't I think of this? When Dongfang Yan heard Fang Shi's words, he became interested in her innovative ideas. Dongfang Yan knows that only by continuous innovation can the value of the breeding house and ecological park be enhanced and attract more people's attention. Your own reputation is not a problem. After all, your greatest reliance is still the system. If these innovative ideas can be put into practice, there will be no problem in the development of the Eco Park. And becoming an NPC like Professor Oak is just around the corner. At that time, it will be possible to provide a better choice for new trainers and the Pokémon in their own ecological park. Pokémon can choose their own trainer. Some trainers from difficult families, or those who are lucky, can also establish bonds with their favorite Pokémon. Chapter 114. Contract. After listening to Fang Shi's innovative ideas, Dongfang Yan admired her vision even more. Dongfang Yan realized that these innovative measures would not only enhance the value of the breeding houses and ecological parks, but also attract more people's attention. Here comes the reputation value. As for whether to cooperate with Fang Shi, to be honest, no startup capital is really needed. But putting these ideas into practice and injecting new vitality into the development of the ecological park, we have to say that this rich sister is really good at it. This is different from the operating model of ordinary breeding houses and ecological parks. This is actually better. Dongfang Yan firmly believes that through these innovative measures, the ecological park will become the first choice for new trainers. At the same time, it can also provide more opportunities for trainers from difficult families. Dongfang Yan is now full of expectations for the future. Okay, let's stop talking nonsense and get back to the topic. If you don't let me invest in your ecological park and breeding house, then I'll take a step back and take away the right to sell your Pokémon cubes. Fang Shi said seriously. Fang Shi was sitting peacefully, but because of excitement, her whole body pressed down on the table, and the fullness in front of her was severely pressed. I really didn't dare to watch Dongfang Yan. Miss Fang, you really eat delicious food. As if realizing that his behavior was a little inappropriate, Fang Shi restrained himself a little and stepped back. Dongfang Yan inexplicably felt a little regretful. How about it? You can also sell them in your own breeding house. I can also sell them after I get the goods. When Dongfang Yan heard Fang Shi propose to take away the sales rights of the Pokémon cubes, he had an idea and thought it was a good idea. After all, I understand the significance of this Pokémon block, but my main focus is on the development of the ecological park and the breeding house. Although I know that Pokémon Cube has great prospects, one person cannot do so many things. I have never considered this aspect of cooperation before. But now we can realize that such cooperation can bring more profits and visibility to the Eco Park. Cooperation is possible, but there still needs to be some pulling. Sister Fang, it's possible. However, the number of these Pokémon cubes is limited, and we can't even meet the demand. You know the truth. Dongfang Yan chuckled. In Fang Shi's opinion, Dongfang Yan now looked like a little fox, giggling there. Having roughly understood some of Dongfang Yan's personality, Fang Shi wanted to test Dongfang Yan's bottom line first. Because the current breeding houses can only produce these things, but after they develop, if I want to have anything to do with them, I won't even be worthy of being involved. After all, this area is left for Dongfang Yan to develop, and he can take it to other places to sell it, focusing on not interfering with each other. After all, the breeding house still has two important commodities, Pokémon cubes and Pokémon eggs. I will sell it somewhere else, and you just need to provide the goods. So what percentage can Boss Yan give us? Fang Shi said with a smile. Dongfang Yan sighed in his heart, thinking that he was not cut out for business. Anyway, the way to develop the ecological park was thought up by this sister. I just have a rough idea. All I can say is that sincerity is always the ultimate weapon. Fang Shi is indeed a talented person, and there is nothing wrong with being friends with him. Dongfang Yan smiled and replied, Sister Fang, we can cooperate, but the supply of Pokémon cubes needs to be discussed carefully. We can give you a certain percentage of the sales rights. But you just gave me some advice, which was very inspiring to me. So I can give you the right to sell this water attribute spirit cube. The proportion of the spirit cube is 4 to 6. I'll take 4 portions, you take 6. As for the money, it depends on what you think, Sister Fang. Fang Shi didn't expect Dongfang Yan to agree so easily. This amount is indeed a bit unexpected. Fang Shi smiled slightly, secretly glad that his test was successful. She herself knew that this ratio was already very good for her. After all, she was just a trainer, and Dongfang Yan was the founder of the entire ecological park and breeding house. She nodded, indicating that she accepted the terms of cooperation. Dongfang Yan also breathed a sigh of relief. He also knew that with Fang Shi's support, the development of the ecological park would be smoother. So they signed a temporary contract. Dongfang Yan first gave Fang Shi some water attribute Pokémon cubes, and Fang Shi also gave Dongfang Yan a deposit. Dongfang Yan first wants to see whether Fang Shi can take down this batch of Pokémon cubes. Yes, then let's decide on the next cooperation. No, although the idea is good, it is just a matter of fate. Then celebrate our successful cooperation in advance. Fang Shi stood up and stretched out his hand. Dongfang Yan quickly stood up and shook hands with Fang Shi. The friendship boat is now launched. After declining Fang Shi's invitation to dinner, Fang Shi did not continue to bother him and left in a limited edition supercar. At this time, Sister Wanwan came out from behind. Looking at Dongfang Yan's smug face, forget it. I'll ask him about the Pokémon cube when I have the chance. Sister Wanwan walked behind Dongfang Yan and nodded at his head, which scared the complacent Dongfang Yan. What's the matter, Sister Wan? How was the business? Dongfang Yan scratched his head embarrassedly. There's nothing wrong with the business. Give her a portion first and see if she can eat it. Moreover, the ecological park has a direction for development. Now as long as the Pokémon in the ecological park coexist peacefully, we can wait for a while and then those plans can be implemented normally. Sister Wanwan nodded, it seems that you have your own goals, come on, but I have to remind you that your Pokémon high school is about to start. Remember to report. Dongfang Yan was confused. Oh no, it's so early. Sister Wanwan smiled, turned around, picked up a bucket of Pokémon cubes in both hands, and walked into the breeding house to prepare Pokémon cubes for the Pokémon in the ecological park. But Dongfang Yan feels very uncomfortable. This feeling is like when you haven't finished your homework or are having fun, and someone next to you suddenly says, school is about to start. There was no choice but to follow Sister Wanwan, picking up a bucket of Pokémon cubes in both hands and following her to the ecological park. Boss, it seems to be around here. Wolong looked at the detector in his hand, which was clearly emitting red light. Feng Chu touched her belly, stood on tiptoes, and tried hard to look at the detector in Wolong's hand. Wolong, please come down, I can't see anything. Feng Chu jumped up and looked for a long time, but saw nothing. The fat on his body moved. Su Shija was a little surprised. The Alliance's investigation has been very intense lately. While escaping, he tried every means to find what the organization wanted. Sure enough, hard work pays off. In this case, the specific location can also be discovered. Write down the coordinates, lure the Alliance away first, and then come back here to dig. Su Shija thought about it and decided to make a feint to the east and attack in the west, which would be safer. Okay, boss, I promise to complete the task. Crouching Dragon and Phoenix Chick said in unison. It can be seen that the two people have indeed practiced Mandarin for quite a long time. Chapter 115, Small Conflicts in the Ecological Park. Hey, that guy. Stand still. I am talking about you. Dongfang Yan walked over and gave Soraya a Shandong date. Why? Even though the battle was about to begin, Zoroark, the conspicuous one, stayed on the field and started his own performance. There was no choice but to go up and give him a big date. Speaking of battles, we have to talk about the inexplicable disputes between the pseudo-mantises and the baby bears. Baby bears are naughty creatures. The false mantis is a fearless spirit in the forest. The beginning of this dispute has to do with the unfortunate thing called knocking monkey. Looking at the new members coming to the ecological park. He originally had a low status, but after being taught a lesson by the bear cubs, he has restrained his monkey nature a little. This time when I saw the new guy, I thought I could turn the tables and become the big brother. He doesn't even know what level he is, only level 7, but he's jumping around in front of others. The pseudo-mantis grass grew up in the forest, and under the education of the blue mantis flower, he has mastered some skills to perfection. It's no match for the knocking monkey that grew up in a greenhouse. That's it, he's jumping around in front of others, and the ridicule is almost reaching its limit. As expected, he was taught a lesson by a level 23 pseudo-mantis. However, the knocking monkey did not get discouraged and shook off the embarrassment. Turn around and run towards where the baby bears are. No matter what, the knocking monkey is still under the protection of the boss bear. When a younger brother is bullied, as the boss, he must get back at him no matter what. So, the two Pokémon agreed to fight. Fighting is normal, and the Pokémon world is full of battles. Of course, Lan Mantis did not interfere in this matter, and even communicated with Night Owl. The main reason is that Lan Manthua feels that the Night Owl still has a lot of say in this ecological park. It seems that his prestige is greater than that of Drago Knight. He will report all the big and small things in the ecological park to Night Owl on the Rock Mountain. So, he told Night Owl everything about the battle between Big Bear and his son. After Night Owl found out, he let them solve it themselves and called Dongfang Yan to be the referee. So Dongfangjian came. To be honest, Dongfang Yan thinks this is not bad. The ecological park is sometimes too comfortable, and the Pokémon all feel like they are enjoying life. If you live in comfort, you will naturally regress, so it's good to have some pressure. As Dongfang Yan walked towards the agreed battle location, he was thinking about how to judge the battle fairly. He knows that as a referee, his words and decisions will affect the order of the entire ecological park. For Big Bear and Knocking Monkey, this battle is also an important opportunity for growth. Therefore, Dongfang Yan decided to treat this battle with fairness and justice, allowing them to gain more and grow from it. It can also make them live in harmony, I think. But in general, no matter what, things will always develop in a good direction. When we arrived at the platform on top of the rock mountain, the pseudo-mantis and the baby bear boss were already in position. After the last expedition, the baby bear boss has reached level 20. Slowpoke is level 23. I have to say that the blessing of its big brother Mewtwo is really awesome. Just look at the upgrade speed of this level, it is really amazing. Of course, there are also times when fighting in the wild. I, Flash Slow Beast, challenge people above my level every day. Even though we can't win, at least there's Drago Knight to save the day. Big fish eat small fish, big fish eat small fish, and in this way, Slowpoke does level up quickly. And this is the main Pokémon that Dongfang Yan has already confirmed. Every time you pass 10 levels, you will receive a reward from the system. When I was at level 0, I almost forgot what I used. Level 10 is 5 Water Attribute Pokémon Cubes and 5 Psychic Attribute Pokémon Cubes, plus a commemorative ball. To be honest, it's a bit like treating a beggar badly. One bad thing about the system store is that there are only 3 types of Pokeballs. There are 3 types: ordinary red and white balls, super balls, and advanced balls. The rest of the Pokeballs are obtained through lottery. The level 20 rewards are 10 Water Attribute Pokémon Cubes, 10 Psychic Attribute Pokémon Cubes, a commemorative ball, and a Silver Spray. Silver Spray, which can repel weak Pokémon. But when I was traveling in the forest, I forgot about this thing, mainly because I forgot to collect it. When they collected it, public outrage had already been aroused. There was no need to spray it, and it would be useless even if they did. After returning from his trip, Zoroark also reached level 20, which can be considered as catching up from behind and upgrading relatively quickly. Going out for adventure can indeed help you level up faster than staying in the ecological park. But no matter what, battles in the ecological park will still have to take place from time to time. As for why the level of the bear baby boss is on par with the ones who came later in Zoroark. After all, it would be embarrassing to let the baby bear out before continuing the adventure. Both Pokémon, please take your positions. The fake mantis stood in its position, assumed a fighting posture, and stared at the baby bear boss. The eldest bear cub opened his palms, and his claws stretched out from his palms, revealing a cold light. At the same time, he bared his teeth and looked like someone who was not easy to mess with. Dongfang Yan silently opened a bag of melon seeds from the back. I don't need to direct this game. There's no need for that. It's just a personal grudge. Of course they solved it themselves. Just be a good referee. Grandma Lan and Sister Wan Wan are also here. After all, they don't want to miss such an interesting thing. Grandma Lan and Sister Wan Wan found out that Dongfang Yan had actually brought back another family in one piece. I don't know how stunned and surprised that expression was. There was an ambiguous feeling in his expression. Dongfang Yan didn't know why, but his luck was really good. After returning, I stored all the things I brought back from the trip in my room. The celebi saplings have already been planted in the ecological park. The parchment cloth without any words on it was also placed in his desk as a souvenir. Of course, there is also the most important stone. The keystone taken out from the code box. This is really amazing, and only requires one Mega Evolution stone. Add one more Pokémon that can Mega Evolve, and you can become a Mega Evolution trainer yourself. Of course, for now, just think about it. If Mega Evolution stones were so easy to obtain, there would be Mega Evolution trainers everywhere. Although it does seem like there is a little bit at the moment. Why? After all, my sister Wan is a super evolution trainer. I competed with her before in order to pass her test. Through some of the conditions of the competition, Sister Wan Wan can see my determination. Originally it was supposed to hold 3 turns. Who knew that Sister Wan would directly use a Mega Karam? Fighting and hitting rocks, okay, sent. Chapter 116, Big Bear Boss vs. Pseudo Mantis. Dongfang Yan gave an order. The game is announced to start. The moment Dongfang Yan's voice ended, the growth skill of the Pseudo Mantis was activated directly. Then just use a flying leaf knife. The false mantis was surrounded by leaves, and then all shot towards the baby bear boss. The big bear cub obviously isn't that fast. But no matter what, the fighting skills of the bear baby boss are still good. Round pupils. The baby bear's eyes turned into the shape of hearts. Staring at the false mantis grass. This skill is a preemptive attack and will also reduce the opponent's attack power. The false mantis was in a daze for a moment, but quickly reacted, and the flying leaf knife still hit the bear boss. The big bear baby was hit by the flying leaf knife of the false mantis grass. Although the hit part was not large, it still made it feel painful. However, the bear cubs did not show any sign of being defeated, but instead became excited. It seized this opportunity and prepared to use its powerful skills without hesitation. Tooth for tooth. When he saw the pseudo mantis taking the lead in launching a skill, the baby bear boss knew that he would not be able to dodge it. So I activated this skill in advance. He managed to withstand the flying leaves and sharp knives of the false mantis grass. Then a counterattack was immediately launched. Fight tooth for tooth and take a wave of damage yourself. It will be returned twice as much, so the damage of this wave of skills is particularly high. The false mantis tried to dodge, but its speed and evasive ability still couldn't avoid the attack of the baby bear boss. After being hit by the powerful skill of the bear baby boss, the pseudo mantis's expression was slightly distorted, but he did not give up his determination to fight. The pseudo mantis thought about it and immediately came up with a new plan of action. Undeterred, the pseudo mantis retracted its attacking stance, distanced itself from the enemy, and used rooting. A few blades of grass connected to the ground. A ball of green light appeared on the body of the pseudo mantis. This skill can sustain the life of the pseudo mantis and restore its physical strength once per round. To be honest, it's a bit shameless. But grass attribute Pokémon are often like this. You're so disgusting. Such skills as hypnotic powder, paralysis powder, photosynthesis, etc. So, the bear cub boss felt very uncomfortable when he was beaten. After all, it doesn't have any powerful skills now. Scratching and grabbing, these two skills. What should Boss Bear do? Pseudo-mantis has just used a skill. The big bear baby jumped up decisively and scratched around. There is no way. Tit for tat will cause damage, but I am afraid that the pseudo-mantis will dodge it. That would be a big loss. When the false mantis saw the bear baby boss's random grabbing skills coming towards him, he immediately dodged swiftly. It nimbly dodged the first grab from the bear cub boss, but the bear cub boss struck it again from below with lightning speed, grabbing it hard upwards. The false mantis grass was unable to dodge and was severely scratched. In the ecological park, Zoroark and Big Bear are the Pokémon that cause the most damage to the cat climbing frame. Zoro either left his claw marks or his teeth marks on it. The bear cub boss is of the same kind as Zoroark, so naturally he spent a lot of effort on it. Therefore, Big Bear Baby has his own unique understanding of grabbing and striking. Under the full attention of the bear boss, he grabbed it down suddenly and delivered a critical hit. Then, there were several more grabs and attacks. None of the false mantises were able to dodge and those that were caught retreated repeatedly. The baby bear boss grabbed and attacked 5 times in a row, except for the first time which was dodged by the false mantis. During one of the grab attacks, the big bear even triggered a critical hit. The critical hit directly caught the body of the pseudo-mantis grass, leaving a deep claw mark. The false mantis felt pain, but had no intention of retreating. Instead, it clenched its teeth tightly, determined to give the bear cub a fatal blow. Fake. The fake mantis came right up to his face and launched a flying leaf knife. The big bear baby didn't have time to retaliate and was cut by the flying leaf knife. They were also attacked and retreated repeatedly, unable to launch a counterattack. Because the pseudo-mantis relies on the skill of taking root, he restored his own strength and used the flying leaf knife again. Just keep kiting the baby bear boss, and this time the baby bear boss finally used tit for tat. The eldest bear cub stretched out his short legs and accelerated towards the false mantis grass. He stared at the pseudo-mantis and could not miss his skill in a tit for tat fight. If the false mantis grass had not been hit, the baby bear boss would have had no chance. After all, the recovery ability of the pseudo-mantis is really amazing. At least it's better than the big bear baby who has no recovery ability. And big bear baby also has an advantage. That is, the racial value is higher than that of the pseudo-mantis. And the attack power is stronger, and physical skills can have a more powerful effect on the baby bear boss. The false mantis kept distancing itself from the baby bear boss, and then used the flying leaf knife to interfere with the baby bear boss's vision. It also consumes the energy of the big bear baby. The big bear baby boss thought quickly and suddenly aimed at the roots of the false mantis grass and launched a series of attacks. In a short period of time, the big bear baby pounced on the prey like a hungry wolf and quickly cut off the roots of the false mantis grass. The tit-for-tat strategy was also used on this. Due to the inconvenience of rooting, the pseudo-mantis was able to dodge the skills of the baby bear boss several times, which was already very impressive. After being cut off by the big bear baby boss and using the skill of taking root, the false mantis grass fell violently to the ground. This is a chain of effects. The big bear boss will definitely not give up such a good opportunity. He rushed up again and grabbed everything. The false mantis was dodging the big bear's claws in a panic and was in a desperate situation. Suddenly, it showed a cunning expression, quickly turned over from the ground, and used a series of slashes to repel the baby bear boss. Big Bear Baby never expected that this guy was actually pretending. The false mantis quickly got up, raised his sickle, and used the continuous slash again. The power of 2 rounds of continuous slashing will increase, which is equivalent to the pseudo-mantis slashing left and right twice in a row. This time, the Big Bear Baby couldn't withstand the damage. After all, in the previous battle, Big Bear Baby had suffered too much damage, and it was hard for him to think of a way to turn defeat into victory. Unexpectedly, this was also taken into account by the pseudo-mantis. This time the false mantis won a great victory, but the Big Bear Baby was beaten unconscious and fell heavily to the side. In this round of battle, the pseudo-mantis successfully turned the tables. Likewise, we won this game. The other baby bears were listless, as they were very sad that their boss had lost. The knocking monkey saw that the big bear who stood up for him had fallen down. He was very panicked and looked around, fearing that the pseudo-mantis would cause trouble for him. Dongfang Yan clapped his hands. Awesome! Chapter 117. Small misunderstanding. There's nothing much to say, it's really awesome. The courage of the Big Bear Baby is very commendable. Besides, it's really difficult to ask a bear to use its brain. Of course, Baby Bear has not yet reached the level of Circle Bear. My own baby bears had a great time playing with Zoroark, and they used their brains a lot. He is usually teased by Zoroark, so he is not good at fighting. The eldest bear baby also likes to use his brain. But the false mantis is a mantis. His heart is also dirty. Take the step of falling and make your own judgment. I guess the big bear cub will pounce on it and grab it. The winner of this game is Pseudo Mantis. Dongfang Yan directly announced the victory of the game and ran to the venue on the rocky mountain. Picked up the baby bear boss. He took out the medicine and gave it to the little boy named Tana. Because almost the doll, Tana, has the characteristics of a healing heart. Therefore, it is best to leave the exhausted and unconscious big bear to little Tana. Thank you for your hard work, little Tana. Dongfang Yan touched little Tana's head. Not only was it furry, but it felt really good. Little Tana turned his head away with disdain, but his wagging tail betrayed him directly. Dongfang Yan understood that this was a tsundere kid. Lan Tanghua was very happy because her son was really good. Because Lily Root Doll and Miss Skirt are all female. After Lan Mantis gives birth to a child, as long as it is a false mantis, no matter whether it is male or female, she will take care of it. If it is a Lily Root Doll, it will be taken care of by Miss Cooner. After all, everyone has their own expertise. At least I grew up with pseudo-mantis grass, so I naturally know a lot about its growth. As for the Lily Root Dolls, after all, Lan Mantis has 7 wives, and the 9 pseudo-mantis are his own cubs, 2 of which are of C-level qualification, the other 4 are of D-level, and the remaining 2 are of E-level qualification. There is no way, after all, there are a few E-level qualifications among Miss Cooner. Their love goes back a long way. When the orchid mantis was still a pseudo-mantis. It is a very ordinary and cliched plot, a scene of a hero saving a beautiful girl. At that time, the orchid mantis won the hearts of the Lily Root Dolls in one fell swoop. After the pseudo-mantis grass evolves into the blue mantis flower. The gorgeous appearance, captivating eyes and charming colors have made the Lily Root Dolls fall in love with her. Even Dongfang Yan had to admit that the orchid mantis flower was indeed quite beautiful. Later, only a fool would make a choice and take all the orchid mantis flowers. After all, who would be willing to send away the wife they raised since childhood? Later, when I was leading the Lily Root Dolls past a cliff, a Lily Root Doll accidentally fell down. The fall caused a streak of white light to appear. The Lily Root Doll touched a sunstone. Then the evolution was completed naturally. Lan Tanghua looked at Miss Skirt, who was a little taller than her. This is tantamount to opening the door to a new world. What's behind? The pseudo-mantis that fights against the big bear cub is the largest cub of the blue mantis. Elf, pseudo-mantis, level 23. Potential, C+. Gender, male. Property, grass. Status, minor injury. Features, leaf defense, when facing clear weather, it will not become abnormal. Genetic skill, treble seed. Basic skills, slash, growth, rooting, leaf blade, sweet fragrance. Skill CD, none. Props to carry, none. Note, the scythe grass Pokémon sleeps in the sun during the day, but starts moving around at night, looking for a safer bed. I have to say, this pseudo-mantis has really good talent. With C and qualifications, it is a foregone conclusion that he will reach B level after evolution. If cultivated well, it can become a king level Pokémon. It can even be higher. Elf, baby bear, level 19. Potential, D. Gender, male. Attributes, general. Status, coma. Features, pickup, sometimes you will pick up items used by your opponent, and you will also pick up items during the adventure. Inherited skills, double return, bite and spit. Basic skills, claw, round pupils, scratching, tooth for tooth, sweet scent. Skill CD, none. Props to carry, none. Note, when the bear Pokémon finds honey, the crescent pattern will sparkle and it will keep licking the palm with sweet honey. It looks cute on the outside, but is very naughty on the inside. Dongfang Yan used his true vision to carefully observe the difference between the two sides. I have to say, there is indeed a big difference. There are only 4 baby bears in the ecological park. And all of them are D-level qualifications. It's okay that the difference in qualifications is a bit big, but the main thing is that I'm 4 levels behind. Even in this situation, the big bear baby still fought back and forth with others. I have to say, he was really awesome. Of course, the same goes for the pseudo-mantis, which did not relax by relying on its level advantage. Under the care of little Tana, the little bear baby began to show signs of waking up. The false mantises were so happy to see their big brother win. The unnatural feeling of just arriving in a new environment is gone. The eldest baby bear gradually woke up. He was originally injured and fainted due to exhaustion. Waking up is easy. The wound was also treated by Dongfang Yan with medicine. The false mantis looked at the baby bear boss who had woken up. He walked over, stretched out his hand, and motioned for the big bear to help him stand up. The big bear baby was not arrogant either. He took the hand of the false mantis and stood up suddenly. Fake. Na. The big bear cub stared at the false mantis grass. The two people started communicating in this way. Dongfang Yan listened attentively, but he didn't understand a word. It's strange, I could clearly hear some things before. Pseudo-mantis means hard work. What the bear cub boss meant was that you win this time, and it was wrong for you to cause trouble for it. But next time, I will definitely defeat you again. The big bear cub bared his teeth and roared, then left with his little brothers. Xiao Si and his friends have been in the ecological park for a long time. I also got to know the personalities of the baby bears. Although they are sometimes very naughty, they have never been bullied by some weak Pokémon in the ecological park. Except for that unfortunate thing called the knocking monkey, which was so lively and causing trouble when it first came out. It uses its stick to bang around all day long, making constant noise. Later, at Dongfang Yan's signal, the big bear baby boss stepped forward and gave him a lecture. Later, the monkey's monkey nature was restrained a little. Until the eldest bear went on a trip some time ago, the knocking monkey became restless again. Because Xiao Si and the others are familiar with the baby bears, it doesn't matter who wins the game. They hope that the two sides can live in harmony. So Little C took the other lily root dolls and pseudo-mantises to explain. After all, the reason for this fight was that the big bear boss thought that the false mantis was bullying the knocking monkey. So the very loyal big bear couldn't help but take action. Dongfang Yan looked at the Pokémon in the ecological park, and Little C was still very sensible. I see it with my own eyes. As for the knocking monkey, it needs some proper training now that it is so big. We can't let it go on like this. Chapter 118. Involution. In the ecological park, due to the last competition, the bear boss fought against the false mantis. During the battle, the fake mantis used some tricks to make the baby bear run around in circles. And those baby bears saw that their boss actually lost. Although I feel like my boss is being teased a bit. But they did not dislike their boss, let alone blame him. The big bear baby also learned from his mistakes and became braver. It doesn't matter if he loses, he can just win it back. So, every day I would practice on the cat climbing frame and training equipment. Not only that, the other baby bears also started exercising when they saw their boss working so hard. After all, the strength between the younger brother and the boss cannot be too different. After I got out, the boss lost face and I lost even more face. The baby bears began to work harder. They trained hard during the day and tried their best to improve their strength. Under the supervision of the big boss bear, and with the competition with the false mantis, their fighting spirit is stimulated. It showed even better performance in the ecological park. Dongfang Yan looked so relieved that he didn't know how happy he was. Not only that, the big bear baby also pulled Slowpoke and asked Slowpoke to use a water gun, and the big bear baby tried to dodge it. But Slowpoke's reaction was too slow. Sometimes the baby bear boss got impatient and Slowpoke suddenly used a water gun to attack. Later, let the sunflower monster use grass attribute skills, and then dodge or use other moves to break it. Dongfang Yan also tried to persuade the sunflower monster, after all, its photosynthesis was working well. After finally retiring, I still have to teach children, so I was tempted by Dongfang Yan's several bags of grass attribute Pokémon cubes. The sunflower monster agreed to train with the baby bear boss for an hour every day. The prerequisite is that you need to have enough grass attribute Pokémon blocks, otherwise it won't go and there's no way to teach, which is normal, right? Seeing their eldest brother practicing so hard, the baby bears decided not to slack off and started practicing too. They are determined to regain face for the bear cub boss and win glory for themselves. As for the next competition, Dongfang Yan decided to leave them alone for the time being. After all, such a good atmosphere cannot be wasted. But the main reason is that Dongfang Yan is about to start school. Prepare what you need first. Although I'm in Forever High School, there's still a final competition and I'll see how the competition goes at that time. And after Fang Shihi's reminder, the ecological park will definitely start foster care at that time. So we still have to start preparing one after another. The Pokémon in the ecological park are not afraid of being bullied, mainly because Dongfang Yan wants the Pokémon in the ecological park to have better order. Dongfang Yan has observed the bear cubs over the past few days and found that Big Boss Bear has some qualities that make him a leader. After all, the knocking monkey was also captured by the big bear boss and transformed. Dongfang Yan was packing his luggage. It was noisy outside, very lively. A few days ago, I went to a tree fruit store and bought a large batch of goods, which are the tree fruits used to make water attribute Pokémon blocks. Since Dongfang Yan bought an Pokémon Cube manufacturing machine, the production of Pokémon Cubes has greatly increased. After all, everyone who has bought water attribute Pokémon blocks in their own breeding house said it was good. And at this moment in the Yunao breeding house. Hey, Grandma, give me 5 water attribute spirit cubes. A girl holding Weibo said as she stood in line to scan the Pokémon book. Looking at the long dragon in the breeding house, Grandma Lan shook her head, wondering where her grandson got the recipe for the Pokémon cube from. This is selling too hot. Hey, Lao Wang, come buy some Pokémon cubes for your daughter too. Hey, don't you want this thing? Haha, who knew this Pokémon cube would be more to my taste, and when combined with other Pokémon cubes, my Pokémon would eat more. Indeed, my lobster soldier also likes it very much. Not only that, after eating it for half a month, its shell has become more shiny. Indeed, indeed. And the water attribute Pokémon blocks in the breeding house are really selling like hotcakes. Every day the baby bears were asked to move the Pokémon blocks regardless of whether they had anything to do or not. Grandma Lan is already quite old, and she never expected the breeding house to become so popular. But the quantity is limited. Dongfang Yan has been staying in the kitchen on the second floor for the past few days and turned several bags of tree fruits into Pokémon cubes. Because I have to rush out some of the goods that I promised to give to Fang Shihi. And by the time I go to school, it will probably be even more. In order to avoid buying all at once, there is a limit on the number of purchases each person can make each day. Complete real name verification, through the personal identification code of the Pokémon Encyclopedia, and scan the code with the machine in the breeding house. In order to prevent duplicate purchases, each person is limited to 5 copies, and even 5 copies are not enough to sell. Because there is not much reserve, a few bags of berries can only last for 6 days. Since Yunai breeding house had never produced Pokémon cubes before, it was very troublesome to purchase them. However, Fatty Chien knew about it and said he would solve it. But brothers are brothers, and no matter how rich the fat guy's family is, I can't always take advantage of him. Therefore, the purchase cost of the fruits and the profit margin earned by the middlemen should all be paid to the fat man. Under the careful management of Uncle Fu, the butler, Fatty Chien gave intensive training to Snorlax and Ishigan, and their levels were raised sharply. It has surpassed Dongfang Yan's Slowpoke. Snorlax is already level 23, and Ishiganko is also level 21. Dongfang Yan packed his luggage and went to Yongyuan High School with Fatty in a few days. After working in the breeding house for half a day, the rock dog grabbed the pants of the person who cut in line and kept pulling them out. This time, the one who stayed in the tree of the breeding house to maintain order was Night Owl. After all, there were so many people, so security personnel had to be arranged. It's no wonder that the rock dog is well trained. With just a glance from the Night Owl, the rock dog knows who to pull out. Generally speaking, people who cut in line feel a bit embarrassed, as they still have to save face if they are caught by a Pokémon. The fruit trees in the ecological park have finally borne fruit, and the fruits are lush and green. Dongfang Yan added some fertilizer, and it is necessary to provide enough nutrition. Of course, the main reason is that Huabai Bei is very active and pollinates almost every flower. This fairy-like little guy was so clingy when he was just born. Fairy-type Pokémon blocks will definitely be indispensable in the future. When this green fruit grows a little bigger, I don't know what it will look like. Some tree fruit seeds are given randomly by the system, and to be honest, I really have no idea what they look like. Of course, I also bought the exclusive fruits needed to make water attribute Pokémon blocks, and bought a lot of seeds to plant. By then, you can harvest it anytime and anywhere, and you won't need to rely too much on external supply channels. Chapter 119. Caracalla. In the sky, under the sunlight, a group of butterflies are dancing gracefully, with a unique beauty under the sun's radiance. The crowd below, seeing this, picked up their Pokémon illustrated books and started taking pictures frantically. A little girl looked at the beautiful butterfly in the sky and said, "Mom, look, look, it's so beautiful." The little girl's mother was also very happy watching the bat flying in the sky. "It's really pretty, let me take a picture and post it on the illustrated forum." "Then Mom, can we raise Butterfree?" The little girl looked at her mother hopefully. The woman was moved by her daughter's expectant eyes. Thinking about it, Butterfree's lowest evolution is just a caterpillar. You have to think carefully, the lowest evolution of Butterfree is a small insect. "Yeah, I'll take good care of it. There's nothing I can do. Since my daughter has said so, I'll go to the breeder house and have a look. I don't really want to catch wild ones, and if I go to catch them, I'll ask her father to go." The woman picked up the illustrated guide and began to look for a nearby breeding house. "This one, looks good." The woman searched and finally found a place in the illustrated book. "The Cloud Breeding House, hey? It looks pretty good." The woman muttered to herself. "Yes, this qualification tester is free." Dongfang Yan looked at the aptitude detector that had been installed. "After all, there are trees, mountains, and water near my home. There are still quite a lot of wild Pokémon. But Dongfang Yan didn't find any particularly powerful Pokémon around. My grandma told me that in order to ensure the safety of the breeding house, my grandpa drove some of the more powerful Pokémon to the Moonlight Forest. So Dongfang Yan's first stop to catch Pokémon was the Moonlight Forest. It's simple, my grandpa is awesome. Can I test the Pokémon I just caught?" A little boy with a snotty nose looked at Dongfang Yan excitedly and said. Gugu was dozing in the tree. "The sale of Pokémon cubes in the breeding house has been changed to Sundays every week, and 750 pieces are sold per week. Only valid on Sundays and limited to 5 servings per person. If I sell every day, I will be too busy to handle it. It is better to be busy to death every day." Sister Wan Wan, Grandma, and Dongfang Yan had been selling for several days in a row and were exhausted. Then the rules were changed, day by day if the Pokémon hadn't helped a little. "Otherwise I don't know how tiring every day is." "Okay, of course no problem." Dongfang Yan nodded and signaled the snotty boy to put the Pokeball on it. The snotty boy took out a high-end ball, and Dongfang Yan's eyes widened instantly. "No, what kind of family do you have?" Dongfang Yan didn't know what to say. "What's wrong?" The snotty boy looked at Dongfang Yan and asked. "It's okay, I'll test it for you." Dongfang Yan operated the machine and pressed a few buttons. After all, the instructions are printed right next to it. Drip drip. Kara. Level 8. Qualification, C level. Dongfang Yan. Snot-lout boy jumped up with excitement. "Yay! It's C. Then let Caracalla out directly." Caracalla was sitting on the ground wearing a bone helmet and holding a bone bowl. See the snotty boy and hug each other excitedly. Dongfang Yan, who was standing by, was stunned. "You caught it in the small forest near the breeding house." The snotty little boy nodded. "Otherwise, my brother just brought me here to explore." Then he pointed at the man talking to Sister Wan Wan at the counter. The man looked to be about 20 years old. Seeing Dongfang Yan looking at him, he smiled and walked over. "Hello, let's get to know each other. Kazama Toru." The man stretched out his hand and said. "Hello, my name is Pencil Shin Chan." Dongfang Yan also stretched out his hand and shook hands with Fengjiank. Kazama Toru was a little confused. "Isn't your name Dongfang Yan?" Dongfang Yan was also a little confused. "You were the one joking with me first. Who's good guy in the Huguo alliance named Fengjian Toru?" Toru Kazama was a little speechless. He was always discriminated against because of this name when he was a child, but there was nothing he could do about it. He really had to be called this. Toru Kazama was a little speechless, but with so much experience, these were just minor problems. "Let me reintroduce myself. Although my name is Kazama Toru, I am a pure Chinese." Dongfang Yan looked at Fengjian who was speaking righteously, and suddenly felt a little embarrassed. "But it doesn't matter, the main thing is to be thick-skinned. I'm an alliance investigator. I brought my brother here to relax today, and then I found this Caracara." Dongfang Yan looked at Caracalla and the snotty boy hugging each other. "Eye of true seeing. Elf, Caracara, level 8. Potential, C. Gender, female. Attribute, ground. Status, healthy. Features, battle armor, protected by hard armor, and will not be hit by the opponent's attack. Genetic skill, see-through. Basic skills, barking, wagging tail, bone stick. Skill CD, none. Props to carry, none. Note, a lonely Pokémon that wears the skull of its lost mother on its head. It is said to cry loudly when it is lonely. Oh, it's a hidden feature. Dongfang Yan was a little surprised when he saw the attributes of Caracalla, but it was quite impressive that he didn't even know about the appearance of a Caracalla in his own territory. When we found it, it was being besieged by a group of Alitos. My brother, Hyacinthus, found out, and ran over and was nearly beaten to death by Alitos. Toru Kazama took Hyacinth's hand away, which had several scratches on it. As for Caracalla's mother, what can I say? Caracalla even wore a skull, so there's basically nothing much to say. But who on earth would hunt Pokémon in the nearby forest? I'm a little scared. But after thinking about it, there are several Quasi-King level Pokémon in the ecological park, and suddenly I didn't feel scared anymore. Look at Caracalla, who is holding Hyacinth's clothes in one hand and a bone stick in the other. He looked around very warily, with a fierce look in his eyes, not as relaxed as he was just now when he was playing with Hyacinth. It still looks quite pitiful. Seeing this, Dongfang Yan took out a small basin of rock-attributed Pokémon blocks from the back. These recipes have not been purchased yet and can only be purchased from the system store or through a lottery. To be honest, I've been very busy these days, busy working on Fang Shihi's Pokémon Cube. After working all night for several days, the refrigerator was full and we were just waiting for Fang Shihi to send someone to take it away at the appointed time. After all, it's signed in black and white, so there's nothing to say. Dongfang Yan picked up the small basin and walked over to hand it to Caracalla. Wait, be careful. Feng Jian Toru watched Dongfang Yan pick up the basin and hand it to Caracalla. I was so scared that I shouted to stop, but it was too late. Caracalla's eyes became increasingly irritable. Seeing Dongfang Yan stretching out his hand, he raised the bone stick without hesitation and hit Dongfang Yan's hand hard. Bah! What? This blow was not light. Dongfang Yan felt that his entire arm was losing sensation. It was more painful than being pecked on the butt by a spitting bird. Gugu, who was sleeping on the tree, was suddenly awakened by the shock. He opened his eyes and saw Caracalla's bone stick hitting Dongfang Yan's hand. Dongfang Yan looked in pain, and the basin in his hand fell to the ground. Gugu rushed down suddenly and pecked at something that emitted a white light. Gu! Dongfang Yan's screams attracted the attention of other people in the breeding house. The rock dog, who was shaking his head outside, turned around when he heard the sound and rushed forward with his teeth bared. Wang Wang. Chapter 120. A small misunderstanding? Caracalla noticed Gugu on the tree, took a step back and dodged Gugu's peck. The rock dog, who had witnessed everything outside, rushed up with his teeth bared, and knocked Caracalla to the ground. Caracara had just dodged Gugu's attack and hadn't yet gained his footing when he was hit by the rock dog and knocked to the ground. The rock dog took the opportunity to bite it. Caracalla was only level 8. The rock dog had been guarding outside the breeding house for so many days and followed the fat man to steal things. It wasn't that he was touching dogs or stealing chickens, it was mainly the fat man's bad friends. Although there has been no systematic training, the level has reached 7. The rock dog bit Caracalla's neck tightly. Caracalla was bitten on the neck by the rock dog, and the rock dog started shaking its head wildly as soon as it started biting him. Seeing that the situation was not good, Caracalla felt helpless and could only wave the bone stick around randomly. Suddenly, a water gun appeared and knocked the rock dog away instantly. Caracalla looked up and saw that it was Toru Kazama's Thorn Dragon King. It attacked with a small powerful water gun, separating the rock dog and Caracalla, but the water gun mainly attacked the rock dog. The rock dog, who didn't particularly like water, was waving his body wildly. What are you doing? Dongfang Yan picked up a towel not far away and wrapped the rock dog. Because Toru Kazama was too anxious, he didn't realize for a moment that Geogria was a rock attribute Pokémon. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I just wanted to separate the two of them. Kazama Toru said a little embarrassedly. Then he quickly apologized, and Hyacinth was so scared that she ran over to check the wound on Caracalla's neck. The Thorn Dragon King stayed where he was. You should apologize soon, Thorn Dragon King. Toru Kazama immediately looked at the Thorn Dragon King with a stern face and said. The cheek membranes on both sides of the Thorn Dragon King swayed slightly, and he called out weakly a few times. After all, it was he who followed Toru Kazama to rescue Caracalla, so he was a bit biased. Dongfang Yan ignored it and used a towel to wipe Yan Gaogu and Gugu clean. The hand holding the towel trembled slightly, and then a sharp pain came from the hand. Dongfang Yan was about to speak. Okay, if you don't seem to want to apologize, then just give it back. Sister Juan's voice came from behind, the voice arrived before the person arrived. Dongfang Yan looked back and saw Sister Wan walking out from the door behind the front desk. Looking at Sister Juan's strong figure, he felt a sense of security in an instant. Karam, Thunder Fist. In an instant, a mega-shaped halo flashed, and Mega Karam appeared from behind Sister Wan in an instant and rushed in front of the Thorn Dragon King. The fist flashed with lightning and was surrounded by lightning. Wait, this is a misunderstanding. Toru Kazama shouted anxiously, but Karam still ignored him. He had no choice but to block its attack first. Dragon King, hold on. But Mega Karam was extremely fast and rushed out suddenly. No matter how fast Toru Kazama reacts, he cannot synchronize with the Thorn Dragon King. The Thorn Dragon King had no time to react and was hit directly in the vitals. He was knocked out of the breeding house with one punch. Feng Jianche hurriedly ran out. The Thorn Dragon King struggled to stand up from the ground. There were still subtle lightning surrounding his body. His blue body was slightly charred and he fell into a paralyzed state. The Mega Karam in the room was floating in the air with his legs crossed, and his hands were clasped together, with lightning surrounding his hands, and his eyes were closed, as if to say, he was too weak and was no match for him at all. Caracalla was stunned by the scene, and finally realized that she was in trouble. She pushed Hyacinth away and ran out the door. Hyacinthus didn't react for a moment, while Toru Kazama was checking the body of the Thorn Dragon King. He also failed to stop Caracalla in time. Caracalla just ran into the nearby woods. Caracara! Hyacinthus yelled, wiped her nose, and ran out, but was caught back by Kazama Toru. Toru Kazama put the thorn back into the pokeball. He came to Dongfang Yan, took Dongfang Yan's hand and looked at it. I'm sorry to trouble you. The injury was indeed quite serious, one of his hands was swollen. At this time, Grandma Lan also rushed over from behind and felt very distressed when she saw her grandson's hand. After asking about the whole story, I looked at Sister Wan, who had her arms folded across her chest with a protective look on her face. For a moment, I didn't know whether to scold the other person or apologize to him. Fortunately, Toru Kazama is not an unreasonable person. This incident was mainly caused by himself. I'm sorry to trouble you. Well, I'll pay for the medical expenses. Toru Kazama held Hyacinthus's hand and apologized seriously. Hyacinthus kept staring out the door, looking absent-minded. Dongfang Yan also knew that Caracara didn't mean it. Pokémon like Caracara were not that trusting of outsiders. I had not expected this situation. Sister Wan pulled Dongfang Yan's hand, picked up the gauze and applied some medicine on it. Ah! Be gentle, Sister Wan. Sister Wan remained unmoved and continued to bandage the wound vigorously as she pleased. Oh, do you feel the pain now? Sister Wan said sarcastically. Dongfang Yan nodded spinelessly, while Sister Wan had a speechless expression. It hit you with a bone club. Don't you know how to smash its head? Sister Wan said with a disappointed look on her face. Dongfang Yan. Sister, what? Head. Sister Wan looked at Dongfang Yan as if he was a fool. Dongfang Yan looked at his arm, then at Sister Juan's, and then looked at Karam in confusion. Karam had an expression as if he was used to it. Feng Jian Toru looked at Dongfang Yan who had been bandaged and Sister Wan who was educating Dongfang Yan, and for some reason he felt a little cold sweat. It seemed that there was no need to pay for medical expenses, so I had to give some money to Dongfang Yan. Dongfang Yan refused directly, saying that there was no need and he was not short of money at the moment. It would be better to use this money to gain some reputation so that I can then go to the system store to draw lots. Speaking of lotteries, I haven't drawn one for a long time. I'm itching to try it. I'll draw a few times and see what good things come out. Seeing that Dongfang Yan had dealt with the problem with his hand, Feng Jian Toru stepped forward and said, Public affairs should be handled privately. I am now representing the Alliance investigator. Can you let me check if there are any traces of Mother Caracala's presence in your ecological park? Dongfang Yan was confused. No, why should I take her mother away? I'm sorry, some people in the alliance gave us a bad idea and asked us to investigate the residents nearby. You are the key target of the investigation. Toru Kazama spread his hands, indicating that he really didn't mean it. I just came here with Caracara to test your attitude, but since none of you are suspicious, I won't go in. That's it, I still have to go find Caracalla in the woods, so I'll retreat first. Dongfang Yan looked at Feng Jian, who was about to leave, and couldn't help but ask, so, do you have any clues about who did it? When Feng Jian Toru heard Dongfang Yan's voice, he stopped. He turned around and looked at Dongfang Yan and said, Hunter Organization. Chapter 121. Green Caterpillar. Hunter Organization. Dongfang Yan murmured. That's right, an organization dedicated to capturing rare Pokémon. Their targets are not only ordinary wild Pokémon, but also Pokémon that have been snatched from others. It's a very notorious organization. Toru Kazama shook his head and said. Dongfang Yan recalled the Hunter organization in the anime. They had indeed done all kinds of bad things, and he wanted to shake the egg yolks apart. Their strength is also unquestionable, especially the Hunter J. Not only is she extremely powerful, but her image as a mature lady is deeply rooted in people's hearts. She is a true femme fatale. And the device on her body that can petrify people is not only unbearable for Pokémon, but also for humans. I just don't know if anime and reality will be the same, but it is undeniable that none of them are good people. Okay, sorry to bother you guys, I'm going to go find Caracalla first. Toru Kazama took Hyacinth and strode out of the Yunao breeding house. There was nothing he could do, after all, it was Caracalla's mistake. An apology is a matter of course, and you cannot morally blackmail others because of your own reasons. Dongfang Yan nodded without saying anything more. After all, his sister Juan's charm had knocked someone else's Pokémon flying with one punch, and it looked half dead. He felt a little embarrassed. Toru Kazama had just been out for a short while. Grandma Lan picked up the plate next to her and hit Dongfang Yan on the head with a bang. Dang dang! What? Grandma, why did you hit me? Dongfang Yan covered his head and looked at Grandma Lan in confusion. I'm hitting you to teach you a lesson. I haven't told you about what happened in Moonlight Forest last time. You are being reckless again. If you rashly touch a Pokémon when it is emotionally unstable, you will only get hurt. Look at the injuries on your body. Grandma Lan looked as if she was very disappointed with her child. To be honest, I didn't have any serious injuries during these trips, but I suffered many minor injuries, such as being pecked by spitting birds and being hit by water currents against rocks, leaving me with bruises all over. Grandma, I just hope you can keep yourself safe. Dongfang Yan nodded with emotion, indicating that he understood. At this time, a mother and daughter walked in from outside the door. Excuse me, are you still open? Seeing the guests coming, Sister Wan went back to the front desk to handle her own affairs. Grandma Lan also went upstairs to place the Pokeballs of the Pokémon in the ecological park. Of course, 2 Pokémon are also arranged to guard it. Today they are a Pseudomantis and a Stone Ball. It's the old people guiding the new people, and the attic on the 3rd floor is also installed with an anti-theft password door. You can't get in without the password, and of course there's nothing you can do if someone violently dismantles it from the outside. But by that time, the Pokémon in the ecological park will not be vegetarians. Hello, welcome to our store, is there anything I can help you with? Dongfang Yan raised his bandaged hands and walked over. The ones who came were the little girl and her mother who wanted Butterfree. The little girl's mother looked at Dongfang Yan's hand, a little confused. Dongfang Yan naturally noticed the guest's look and had to explain. Haha, I accidentally got hurt while playing with Pokémon just now. Small problem, small problem. The little girl's mother also smiled knowingly. The little girl was very happy looking at the decoration inside the store, the Gugu swinging its body wildly on the tree, and the rock dog licking its fur on the ground. Very happy, after all, Gugu and Yan dog are rarely seen in the little girl's world. Wow, Mom, Kukui, and rock dog. It's the first time I've seen a live rock dog. Mom, there's another doll that looks similar. The little girl jumped for joy. The little girl's mother looked at Dongfang Yan and realized that these Pokémon were probably specially bred in the breeding house. It is definitely not for sale. Watching my own daughter stroking the dog's head frantically. The rock dog was so scared that it ran around the breeding house. Little Tana saw the little girl focusing her eyes on him. It was so scared that it retreated directly behind Sister Wan Wan. Looking at Sister Juan Juan's figure, the little girl did not disturb her anymore and continued to chase the rock dog. There was no way to catch it because it was stuck in the tree. I'm sorry to bother you. She has been really into watching a TV show called Dog Team lately. She really likes the rock dog in the movie. It's so hard to see one in real life, so she was a little too excited. Dongfang Yan didn't mind and waved his hand. It's okay, all kids are like this. After all, everyone is the same. When you see a Pokémon you have never seen before, you will be excited for a long time. After watching too many anime and games, if a real Pokémon suddenly appears, it would be fake if you say you are not excited. May I ask what kind of service you need from our Yun AI breeding house? Dongfang Yan brought the conversation back to the main topic. Oh, I almost forgot, do you have young green caterpillars in your breeding house? Or green caterpillar eggs? The little girl's mother finally realized the destination of their visit. It was mainly the decoration inside the store that caught her off guard. It was exquisite yet vibrant. Dongfang Yan is a little bit confused. Ever since he took over the breeding house, Caterpillar and Rattata have never appeared at the counter of the breeding house. And before I took over, my parents would not buy the caterpillar's Pokémon eggs. Sorry, if you don't have it, forget it. The little girl's mother also knows that a breeding house like this one, which also has an ecological park, is naturally a bit more classy. There really isn't a Pokémon like Caterpillar that's everywhere on the streets. But forget it if you have to go into the forest to catch them yourself. Ding dong. The long-lost system voice sounded. Mission detected. The mission is as follows: help the little girl catch a green caterpillar. Mission successful, reward 200 reputation. If the mission fails, the host will be rewarded with leg cramps for 1 day. If the task is completed well, there will be extra rewards. To be honest, in addition to daily tasks, such as feeding the Pokémon in the ecological park and cleaning the Pokémon, there are also outrageous special tasks, such as breeding 60 Pokémon in the ecological park. You think of Pokémon as piglets, right? Apart from long-term tasks, there are indeed not many short-term tasks. But at the moment, it seems that we should have more contact with outsiders, just like randomly triggering hidden NPCs. Despite the outrageous punishment, the system still decided to change it into a reward. The system is really, really touching. There's nothing much to say about this kind of reward that comes right to your door. Just a green caterpillar. It's okay. There's nothing in the breeding house. I can help you catch some in the wild. Dongfang Yan patted his chest with his other hand, indicating that the guests could rest assured that he would do the job. The little girl's mother looked at Dongfang Yan's other injured hand. Looking at Dongfang Yan's determined eyes, he had no choice but to nod. Then I'll come back tomorrow to get it. I want a green caterpillar with a better personality. It would be even better if it was just born. Dongfang Yan nodded, of course he understood. It's not easy to trust wild Pokémon, but Caterpillar is a Pokémon with a good personality. Chapter 122. The little girl then played in the breeding house for a while before being taken away by her mother, who paid a deposit before leaving. Seeing that there was still a lot of time left, Dongfang Yan decided to take Dragonite out for a walk. Just look around to see if there are any green caterpillars, and more importantly, investigate the surrounding situation. To be honest, I originally thought there was no danger near my home, but the incident of Caracal reminded me not to take it lightly. His hand had been applied with medicine and bandaged, but after being hit by Caracal's stick, his entire arm was almost completely exhausted. There was a large purple bruise on the back of his hand. It was extremely painful to touch it, and he couldn't exert any strength. Now he was like a one-armed man. Back at the ecological park, a hand dragged Slowpoke out from the shore. We found Dragonite soundly sleeping on a rocky mountain. This guy clearly said that he would go out for a trip at that time, but he was being well fed and well nourished in the ecological park these days. I have gained several pounds, and I really live up to the name of obese. There was another Dragonite flying around in the sky. Dongfang Yan knew without even looking that this was an illusion created by Zoroark. Only it would be so energetic and run around everywhere. He dragged and tricked the reluctant Dragonite away from the rocky mountain and just reached the door. Dongfang Yan looked back at Soraya and suddenly remembered something. Zoroark is the Pokémon that came to the ecological park alone. I remember that at that time, we went on a killing spree to grab the moo moo cookies made by Grandma Lan. It was grinning at that time, but it was subdued by a yawn of Slowpoke. I thought it was strange at the time, because evil fox Pokémon like Zoroark tend to live in groups. There was no trace of its parents near the breeding house, so when Zoroark was brought back, he was ready to face the judgment of his parents. But for several days, there was no movement. It was then that Dongfang Yan realized that Soraya came here alone. In connection with the hunter organization, the timing of Zoroark's appearance seems to be just right at this time. Looking at Zoroark flying down from the sky and transforming into his original form, he smiled with his mouth crooked. Then he got along well with Ibrahimovic and the baby bears. Looking at the energetic Soraya, Dongfang Yan decided not to tell Soraya about this. Although Zoroark can't speak, he looks heartless all day long. But coming to the ecological park alone, I still feel a little lonely. Dongfang Yan often saw Soraya sitting alone under a tree, with her head down and her shoulders shrugged as if she was crying, looking very sad. Dongfang Yan didn't think any more and left the ecological park with Drago Knight. After playing with Eevee and the baby bears for a long time, Zoroark felt a little hungry. He continued playing with Eevee and the baby bears for a while, then said his stomach hurt a little and he wanted to go to the toilet. Ibrahimovic and the baby bears didn't think much about it and ran off to play somewhere else. Seeing that there was no one around, Zoroark sneaked to a more secluded tree, raised his head and looked around, no one. Then he used his claws to dig the soil frantically and soon dug out a piece of wood. Zoroark lifted the wooden board and inside were the snacks stolen from Dongfang Yan's room. Then he took out another bag, filled it with soil, opened the package and ate it in big mouthfuls. At the same time, he was proud of his own intelligence and laughed wittily until his stomach hurt and his shoulders kept shaking. Dongfang Yan was walking in the woods far away from his home. He had to say that his grandfather was really amazing. He could take over such a large piece of land around him so easily. After walking for so long, we have only walked 1/5 of the surrounding area. There are still many places I haven't visited. I didn't know the surrounding forests were my home. I always felt that there were few people living near my home. Now it looks more and more pleasing to the eye. There are only a few families around the breeding house, running some small businesses. As in the past, the breeder house was visited by old customers, but as it gradually developed, fewer and fewer customers came. A few days before Dongfang Yan came here, there were no customers in the breeding house for a week. Dongfang Yan's parents also wanted to find some new development directions, so they went to other places to study and visit, but then something happened. The situation did not improve until Dongfang Yan came over. Observing the surrounding environment carefully, I indeed discovered quite a few things. The bullet holes on other people's tree trunks are not bullet craters, but thick pinholes. This is obviously not a mark that a Pokémon can create. There are also patches of charred grass in the bushes, which should be traces left by electric shocks. Some of the grass has died, and it is estimated that it happened quite a long time ago. It's really outrageous that something like this happened near my home and I didn't even know about it. It seems necessary to talk to Grandma about this. After all, Grandma has only been back for a short time, and she probably doesn't know what happened here. But it's no wonder that Toru Kazama, the Alliance investigator, would come to the Yunai breeding house to inquire about the situation. Anyone who comes here would be suspicious. I suspect you live nearby, how come you didn't know anything about it? The grass in front suddenly moved inexplicably, making a rustling sound. Dongfang Yan immediately perked up and walked behind Slowpoke, who also stared at him intently. Staring at the flowers in front of me. Dongfang Yan couldn't help but kick Slowpoke. Slowpoke was stunned for a long time and slowly turned around to look at Dongfang Yan. Dongfang Yan! Something suddenly jumped out from the grass. Kara! The one who came was none other than the Karakara. Karakala held up the bone stick and pointed it at Dongfang Yan and Slowpoke. As if issuing a challenge, Karakala ran out, but was quietly observing outside the breeding house. Then he saw the Thorn Dragon King being knocked away by Karam's punch. Karakala knew that the Thorn Dragon King was doing it for his own good, so he felt very upset. In order to avenge the Thorn Dragon King, Karakala watched Fengjian Toru and Fengzhenzi run into the forest, and deliberately waited for Dongfang Yan to come out of the breeding house. Who knew that after Dongfang Yan went out, he was followed by a Pokémon that looked very powerful. It gave off a very strong sense of oppression. Even though it looked fat, it was more powerful than the person I met that night. But not long after, the Pokémon flew into the sky and disappeared. Only then did Caracalla come out to challenge Dongfang Yan. Looking at the fire of challenge in Caracalla's eyes, Dongfang Yan really wanted to agree, but his own Shan Dede was already level 21. Caracalla is only level 8. I'm not talking about bullying children. Dongfang Yan doesn't have that habit. But Caracalla still didn't give up and looked at Dongfang Yan with an indifferent look. It was as if I saw the contemptuous looks of those people that night. It was precisely because of their contempt that a riot broke out in their camp at night, and Caracalla was able to escape. Chapter 123. Investigation. Looking at Dongfang Yan's indifferent eyes, Caracalla finally couldn't help it. He picked up the bone stick and rushed straight towards Dongfang Yan. Cara! Dongfang Yan was still thinking, but who knew that Caracalla would rush over with a loud scream, which really scared Dongfang Yan. Ouch, oh my god! Caracalla ran halfway, jumped suddenly, raised the bone stick and smashed it down hard. Dongfang Yan didn't expect that Caracalla would be so harsh. Enduring the pain in his hands, Dongfang Yan simply picked up Slowpoke and moved forward to block it. Boom! The crisp sound made Dongfang Yan wonder if Slowpoke's head was empty. The sound of the wooden fish made Dongfang Yan feel that his merits were almost fulfilled. Caracalla did not expect Dongfang Yan to be so shameless. Dongfang Yan didn't expect that his reaction was faster than his brain. Looking at the confused Slowpoke, Dongfang Yan felt a little guilty. Caracalla stood firmly on the ground, holding the bone stick and looking at Slowpoke. Slowpoke looked at Caracalla with a confused look on his face, just staring at Caracalla with a pair of dead fish eyes. Caracalla and Slowpoke stared at each other for a long time, and their originally fierce eyes gradually became a little embarrassed. Seeing that Slowpoke still had no reaction, Caracalla could only bow and express his deep apologies. Then he glared at Dongfang Yan fiercely and ran towards the bushes behind. Hey, if you hit someone, just bow. Dongfang Yan shouted loudly at Caracalla, who ran away without even apologizing verbally. Of course I didn't pull Caracalla away. First, it beat up my Slowpoke, of course it wasn't its own fault, and second, there was no danger in the forest for the time being. After all, what's dangerous or not? You're kidding. The hunter organization has already swept this place, so how could there be any high-level Pokémon here? It's painful to think about this. We could have all stayed here and become native Pokémon in the forest. Laying the foundation for the creation of ecological zones later, who knows, these damn hunter organizations. Now we can only manage the ecological park and the breeding house well. After all, if you want to create an ecological zone, you can't just take care of it with just a few Pokémon. Just like Nidal, these quasi-king level Pokémon, there are only these, and it is impossible for them to watch over the ecological zone. Just like this time when the hunter organization came here to steal, and he and the Pokémon in the ecological park knew nothing about it. So for now, I can only develop well and wait for myself to develop with the help of the system. Dongfang Yan let Slowpoke go, definitely not because Caracalla ran away but because he felt safe. Looking at the swollen bump on Slowpoke's head, Dongfang Yan could only say that Slowpoke was really hard. Before Dongfang Yan could start to think wildly, a green caterpillar passed by Slowpoke. Slowpoke looked at the moving caterpillar and suddenly had an idea and felt a headache. He raised his two short hands, sat on the ground, and kept touching his head. Eye of true seeing. Dongfang Yan looked at the caterpillar and observed it with his true eyes. Elf, caterpillar, level 14. Potential, F. Gender, female. Attribute, insect. Status, healthy. Features, escape, can easily escape from wild Pokémon. Inherited skill, silk spinning. Basic skill, hammer. Skill CD, none. Props to carry, none. Notes, this is a bug Pokémon that uses the suction cups on its feet to climb and likes to eat leaves on trees. This qualification is not very high, and the skill template is indeed average. Unless it evolves into Butterfree and its special properties become good, it is of no use at all. Oh, not really. Textile factories love caterpillars very much, as the caterpillars there are engaged in the silk spinning process. It is said that the boss is also the curator of a butterfly house and likes to collect all kinds of butterfly Pokémon. I can only say that he is really awesome. He looked at Slowpoke again with the eye of true vision and found that there was no big problem. The status item also says healthy. It can only be said that the hit from Caracalla's stick did not cause any major damage to Slowpoke except for the pain. Dongfang Yan took out a piccolo and started to play it with a woo sound, and a hurricane blew past. Dragonite appeared above Dongfang Yan's head, flapping its wings. It must be said that this piccolo is quite useful. Before setting off, let Dragonite explore the surrounding situation clearly, that is, the Pokémon community, so that Dongfang Yan can have a general idea of the surrounding situation. That is the distribution of Pokémon. Generally speaking, most Pokémon have their own territorial awareness. That is, it has its own distribution and even the division of attribute areas. Just like the current ecological park, although the Pokémon live in harmony, they also have a little bit of territorial awareness. For example, the cave under the rock mountain is almost assumed to be the territory of the rock monster, and the top of the rock mountain is where the flying Pokémon such as Nightole set up camp. Mainly the uneven rock wall above, it is a natural shelter. Although there are almost no weather changes in the ecological park, there will be a little rain. Mainly the evaporated water vapor condenses on the special glass above the ecological park. Then it turns into water drops and falls down, otherwise how can it be called an ecological park? The water attribute Pokémon stay in the small lake in the middle of the ecological park, and the Pokémon cubes are thrown into it like feeding fish food. At present, there are only a few ugly fish and mosquito coil tadpoles. The grass attribute Pokémon also chose a place in the ecological park and decorated it carefully. Use vines to connect tree branches and wrap them up like a yurt, with tree trunks and branches inside. Orchid mantis flowers and false mantis grasses like to rest on the tree trunks. The knocking monkeys would occasionally fight with the false mantis, after all, they mainly recognized the big bear as their big brother. So the knocking monkey sometimes runs around everywhere, and Dongfang Yan thinks it's not okay to play like this. How can children be let out to play without being disciplined? The eldest bear cub is simply sensible and really wants to be the boss. So I am more obedient. I can't play with the knocking monkey. I just play for fun. Dongfang Yan was also very clear and asked Big Bear to follow Dragonite and learn something. There is nothing much to say about the knocking monkey, so just hand it over to the sunflower monster to learn its skills. Sunflower monster is a Pokémon cultivated by my grandmother. It is quite powerful. As a gym-level Pokémon, it has no problem teaching these Pokémon. The land mantis would come to ask the sunflower monster for advice from time to time, and the sunflower monster would give the land mantis some guidance depending on his mood. As knocking monkey is a pure starter Pokémon, Dongfang Yan could not waste its talent and simply entrusted it to sunflower monster. The sunflower monster also agreed out of courtesy. The knocking monkey is not the type to be patient in learning things, so asking it to learn will make it anxious to death. So he tried every possible way to escape, but the price of escape was that he was caught by the sunflower monster and had his butt severely whipped with vines. Later, the knocking monkey became much more obedient, and followed the sunflower monster to learn the flying leaf knife. Chapter 124. Pokémon Colony. Although one of his hands was injured, it did not prevent Dongfang Yan from flying steadily on Dragonite. Kuai Long also saw that Dongfang Yan's hand was injured. Although he didn't know what happened, it didn't matter. As long as he was not injured, it was enough. But out of humanitarianism, and mainly because the food is good these days, let's fly a little slower. Dongfang Yan did not take Audai back into the Pokeball, but let it sit quietly in front of him. Slowpoke sat on Dragonite's back with its eyes wide open, looking around curiously, its mouth open, its mouth blown big by the wind, and its belly slightly bulging, obviously it was full. Due to Dragonite's quasi-divine aura, no Pokémon came to disturb it along the way. However, the fact that other Pokémon did not come to disturb it did not mean that Dragonite would not look for other Pokémon. Dragonite was flying high in the sky, heading towards a place in the forest, then suddenly dropped and flew at a low altitude. That familiar feeling came back. Dongfang Yan almost vomited, but Slowpoke still opened its mouth and its stomach bulged out. Dongfang Yan held back his dizziness and grabbed the mouth of the Slowpoke with his hand to close it, for fear that it would eat too much wind and get too full. Kuai Long turned around and motioned Dongfang Yan to look down. Dongfang Yan understood the look in Kuai Long's eyes. Turning my head to look down, I saw 7 or 8 Kairos waving the horns on their heads, declaring their sovereignty over this place. Yet, I didn't expect there are a few Kairos here. Logically speaking, the hunter organization would not let go of these Pokémon. They are a hunter organization that leaves no grass growing wherever they go. If you don't catch the Pokémon, you will just pick up the grass and take it away. Kairos, also known as Dagia, Dongfang Yan took a few looks with the eye of true vision and found one with good qualifications, reaching Class B, and its level was over 60. Without looking at it any further, he waved to Dragonite and flew away. This Dagia tribe was also a small tribe. It seemed that Dragonite had other places to visit. There are quite a lot of Pokémon communities at this glance, such as Beedrill hives, and there are communities in almost every forest. There are also some spiders gathered together in alitos, weaving densely white webs. Of course, there are also bird Pokémon such as Pidgeot, etc., but under the oppression of Dragonite, their so-called territorial awareness is also a joke. Among those Pidgeot and Pidgeot colonies, there are even 2 large Pidgeots, also known as Pidgeots. We will have to find a way to collect these Pokémon into the ecological park when the time comes, mainly for the purpose of establishing an ecological zone in the future, which will require aerial surveillance. The Pidgeots that can be seen everywhere are the best choice. After all, who would care about a harmless Pidgeot? More importantly, the Pidgeot trained by my grandmother is the highest level among this group of Pidgeots, which means it will be easier to train them when the time comes. Of course, in addition to these common Pokémon, Dongfang Yan actually discovered a group of relatively rare Pokémon. A group of mealy sheep and rongrong sheep were eating grass with their heads down. Strangely, there was not a single electric dragon among them. Dongfang Yan took a closer look with the eye of true vision and found that there were indeed a few with good qualifications. But the level is not very high, which is quite strange. The average level is over 20, and the highest is only 29. Dongfang Yan let Dragonite fly down a little so that he could see more clearly that some of the sheep still had some unhealed wounds on their bodies. Well, Dongfang Yan probably understood why there was no electric dragon among this group of mealy sheep and rongrong sheep. At this time, the mealy sheep below also discovered the Dragonite above, and more importantly, there was a human sitting on Dragonite. At this time, the fluffy sheep shouted, and the other few mealy sheep immediately turned around and ran. The fluffy sheep with the highest level immediately accumulated power in front of its mouth, and a ball of electricity gradually took shape. Dongfang Yan did not provoke this group of sheep anymore. He took out a few bottles of good medicine from the space, threw them on the ground, and then patted Dragonite. Dragonite easily dodged the electric ball fired by Fluffy Sheep with a turn. Dongfang Yan then grabbed Slowpoke's mouth to prevent him from drinking 2 more bowls of feng. After Dongfang Yan left, several mealy sheep stopped running away. Seeing that there was no danger, they ran back. On the contrary, the leading sheep was very alert. It did not go forward to check what Dongfang Yan had thrown down until Dongfang Yan's figure disappeared into the horizon. The main thing was that Rongrongjiang kept smelling a scent, which seemed to be good for the wounds on his body. With a half-believing and half-doubting attitude, looking at several seriously injured mealy sheep, the leading Rongrong sheep still opened the medicine and drank half of it in one gulp. I immediately felt that my body was getting better. There were still 3.5 bottles of good medicine left, which should be enough. Rongrong sheep still looked at the direction where Dongfang Yan left with confusion, not understanding why this human being did this. And why are they different from the group of humans we saw before? Dragonite and I looked at all the Pokémon in the remaining large groups around the forest, except for those in small groups or those that were hiding very well. After all, it is impossible to observe everything completely. There are still blind spots in the air, and the Pokémon that can be seen are generally those that are larger in size. Dongfang Yan learned the approximate location and distribution of those Pokémon with large populations. Although there are indeed no rare Pokémon, I thought I might be able to find 1 or 2 of the big 3 by chance. Haha, I was overthinking. Of course, the starter Pokémon are not there, but there are still rare Pokémon. If there are large populations, you just need to roughly know their locations. The same goes for small ones. Although I really want to pack them up and take them back to the ecological park, unfortunately I don't have that much energy. After all, it is impossible to take care of the children in the ecological park now, if it weren't for Sister Wanwan and little Tana, who helped take care of them. If I really have to take care of it alone, I will be exhausted to death. During this period, 3 caterpillars were caught, 2 of which were at level D and 1 at level C. It can be said that it is very good. Take it back to the ecological park and take good care of it. Apart from anything else, the appearance of the super giant butterfree is beyond reproach. If you want to ask how to find such a highly qualified caterpillar, it's simple. Just run to the butterfree's nest a few more times. What made Dongfang Yan even more excited was that he found a pot. This is true. Dongfang Yan almost burst out laughing. After all, Hu can produce tree juice and is the breeder's dream pet. After all, many breeders like to add Hu's tree juice when making Pokémon blocks. Although the system gives the crafting recipe of the Pokémon block, it is universal. This is equivalent to most Pokémon loving to eat, enjoying eating, but not their favorite. Take milk tea for example. People are willing to taste the flavor, but the sweetness varies, and the added toppings are also different. Don't want pearls in bubble milk tea, don't want milk tea, want bobo, it's the same principle. So the system is good, but it can be optimized. Chapter 125. Purchase. It's a combination of coaxing and deceiving, oh no. Even dragging and pulling is not. They took Hu away in a peaceful and friendly manner. The Pokémon world is all about peace and friendship. What else can you do in one afternoon? You can explore the area roughly, which is really fast. Back at the ecological park, Slowpoke burped from time to time. Hiccup. What's wrong with it? Sister Wanwan looked at the Slowpoke that twitched from time to time. No. I'm full. Hiccup. Why did you bring it to eat so much? Didn't you know that dinner will be served soon? Hiccup. I didn't expect it to eat so much. Hiccup. Look at how much it has eaten. Forget it, I won't give it dinner tonight. After saying that, Sister Wanwan turned around and walked away. Suddenly, halfway through her walk, she turned back and said, "Oh, by the way, the woman who wanted to cooperate with you last time called me. Why don't you go and ask her what's going on?" Dongfang Yan's mind flashed with Fang Shihi's image. He calculated the time and found that tomorrow would be the delivery date. I have been working overtime these days, and the Pokémon machine has been rumbling non-stop. Except for the areas where I have to take action, the basic grinding is left to the machine. Thinking of this, Dongfang Yan ran out of the ecological park. Hu and the caterpillar had not been released yet, so there was no rush. Poor Slowpoke, he was still unconscious and burping, and his originally bulging belly was gradually shrinking. I called Fang Shihi and didn't say much, just reminded Dongfang Yan. Don't forget the time, Fang Shihi will also come with you tomorrow. Dongfang Yan of course expressed his welcome. After all, they were business partners. Anyway, the formula given by the system could hardly be replicated. If it could really be replicated, it would be awesome. But by that time, no one knows how many attributes the Pokémon blocks will have. There is one more thing that I have to mention, which is that the battlefield opposite the Yunao breeding house has finally been built. It's not a very detailed one, after all, I don't have that much time and I have to save money. Although the cost of the ecological park is not actually that high, the show still needs to be done in its entirety. With the help of the system, there is no need for maintenance. The system is the guarantee. So the battle venue is a platform the size of a basketball court, which is just right and can be used for small-scale competitions. There is no need for venues for large-scale events now. After all, the scale of such venues is almost the same as that of the ecological park. You can think of it as the bird's nest of the Olympics, a large venue where national competitions are held. The preparations are almost done, just waiting for tomorrow, and the work on the breeding house is almost finished. Dongfang Yan breathed a sigh of relief and looked at the drawings on the table. Night. Sister Wanwan led the baby bears to move the Pokémon blocks, and Charm also followed. After all, no one wanted to stay in the Pokeball if they could go out and play. Sister Wanwan gave each Pokémon the usual amount, a certain amount so they wouldn't be too full and gain weight. There are Pokémon who work hard at exercising, and there are Pokémon who don't like to exercise. As for the Yuri dolls, except for Little C, the others don't work that hard. Not only does Little C work hard to learn skills, but he is also one of Sunflower's favorite Pokémon. Every time I ask Kaienho to take Xiao C as an example and learn from him well. In the eyes of the Sunflower monster, Little C is the child of other people's families, and this silly monkey is the kind of rough-skinned, thick-skinned, and troublemaker in his own family who doesn't do his job properly. Sister Wanwan put the food for the Pokémon away and was about to go back to the breeding house. Suddenly something grabbed my foot and I looked down. Slowpoke was holding the pink Slowpoke rice bowl that Dongfang Yan bought himself. Although the Oriental dialect's Slowpoke is shiny, the normal Slowpoke is pink. So I couldn't buy the matching color, so I had to buy this pink one. However, it seems that Slowpoke likes it quite a bit. Slowpoke was dragging the basin with one hand and pulling Sister Juan's feet with the other. He raised his head and stared at Sister Wanwan with his eyes full of wisdom. For a moment, Sister Wanwan was a little slow to react. You can't eat any more, you've already eaten enough this afternoon. Sister Wanwan said this, squatted down and touched the head of the slowpoke, then left without looking back. Dai Beast looked at the place where Sister Wanwan left, then looked at his empty bowl and fell into deep thought. Stay. Goo, goo. The sound of the stomach growling came from a certain Pokémon, emitting a cry of protest. Dongfang Yan scribbled on the drawing, and then sneezed for no apparent reason. Aq. What a damn weather! Has it suddenly gotten so cold? This shouldn't be the case. There's still 1/3 of summer left. Dongfang Yan scratched his head, as if he had forgotten something. What was it he had forgotten? Never mind. He was tired today and decided to go to sleep. In the ecological park, a certain Pokémon lowered its head in confusion, looking at an empty basin, and then fell asleep. Cuckoo. Early in the morning, under the morning light, Dongfang Yan looked at the night owl that appeared at the window on time. I opened the window helplessly and let the night owl fly in. Brother Cat, aren't you tired from doing this all day long? The night owl tilted its head and looked at Dongfang Yan pretending to be stupid. Dongfang Yan was speechless. Okay, here they come again. With Brother Mao supervising him, Dongfang Yan had no choice but to put on his clothes obediently, wash up, and go downstairs. It is impossible to stay in bed, unless you are a superstar. If you don't beat Brother Cat when the time comes, it will be your own problem. Dongfang Yan thought to himself, it's Brother Mao's fault for not letting me sleep in so early in the morning. Perhaps sensing Dongfang Yan's resentment, Night Owl directly attacked with a mental hammer. What? Someone screamed. I had just finished the breakfast made by my grandma when I heard the sound of a truck horn outside the door. Dongfang Yan was so scared that he almost took out the super invincible thunder speaker in the ecological park to fight it out. There was a knock on the door of Yunai's breeding house, and Dongfang Yan went to open the door obediently. Good morning, I hope I didn't disturb you. Dongfang Yan looked at the queen in front of him who was wearing gold and silver, the rich girl that Sister Wanwan mentioned. How should I put it? It really doesn't match the literary name of Fang Shihi. It is a shipping error and the item is not consistent with the actual product. No. Boss Fang, I am so sorry for not welcoming you. Dongfang Yan said politely. Cursing in my heart. Damn, who is so kind to come and buy the goods at 7 o'clock in the morning? Fang Shihi didn't say much. Alright, I came here a long time ago so as not to disturb your business. If others knew that you still had stock of Pokémon cubes and you didn't sell them but sold them to other places instead, I would ruin your store. Hehe, Sister Fang is very wise. Dongfang Yan gave a thumbs up to show how awesome he was. Fang Shihi rolled her eyes. It was too obvious that he was being perfunctory. And where did he learn this way of speaking? It sounded so old-fashioned. Hey, this is the partner you mentioned, Xiao Yan. Grandma Lan came out with the prepared breakfast. Dongfang Yan eats fast and his appetite varies, so sometimes Grandma Lan will make an extra portion. When we didn't finish eating, we took them to the ecological park, and the baby bears and Soroanna were fighting over them. Every time they fight, it's a fierce fight. Chapter 126. Pot. I got up early and it smelled pretty good. Fang Shihi suddenly felt a little hungry. Goo. Unable to hold back for a moment, a strange sound came from Fang Shihi's stomach. Everyone present was stunned. Grandma Lan smiled knowingly, took Fang Shihi's hand and led her aside. He turned around and shouted, "What are you all standing there for? Go do what you need to do." Ooh. Dongfang Yan reacted and quickly called the porters to head towards the kitchen on the second floor. After working for a long time, Dongfang Yan was afraid that the movers would damage the equipment, so he moved the Pokémon cubes out himself. Who knew that the movers were only moving small portions, and when Dongfang Yan was wondering, several people with extraordinary strength and wrist power emerged from the stairs. Guilai looked at Dongfang Yan, smiled evilly, raised his 4 hands, did a bodybuilding move, and showed off his muscles. Dongfang Yan habitually opened the eye of true vision. Elf, super strength, level 40. Potential, D. Gender, female. Attribute, fighting. Status, healthy. Features, no defense. Due to the no defense strategy, attacks between the two sides will definitely hit. Genetic skills, once again. Basic skills: bare hand chop, wake up slap, lower body kick, revenge, glare. Skill CD, none. Props to carry, none. Notes: a super strong Pokémon with 4 arms and enormous strength. It can deliver a powerful punch with its 4 hands. With the help of Pokémon, the Pokémon cubes were quickly put on the car, and it was a freezer car, specifically to preserve the Pokémon cubes. After Dongfang Yan finished his work upstairs, he was finally able to come down. Grandma Lan held Fang Shihi's hand and sat on the circular sofa in the breeding house. Bobo was on duty on the tree today. The rock dog was lying at the door as usual, yawning. Oh, no, we got to know each other in less than an hour? Although Fang Shihi is dressed in gold and silver and looks a bit rustic in her Western style, her character is still good. I don't know whether she loves children or not, but you can see that she respects the elderly. It's okay to disrespect the elderly, you future superstar, it's okay, nothing will happen. That's great, Grandma, come to my house and play when you have time. Seeing Dongfang Yan going downstairs, Fang Shihi quickly stood up, not because he felt sorry for the old man. It's just pure embarrassment. Whose nice person came to buy goods and ate other people's breakfast? He ate all the food. What was even more embarrassing was that for some reason, 2 baby bears were staring at him. Today it is Soraya and Big Bear Baby's turn to be on duty. They both go to the 3rd floor to serve as sentinels. Yes, the other baby bear is Zoro. After all, the attic on the 3rd floor is where the Pokémon balls of the Pokémon in the ecological park are stored. They cannot be lost, otherwise it will be very troublesome, so Pokémon are sent to guard it every day. Okay, the goods have all been counted, and if nothing is missing, I should leave now. Fang Shihi watched the movers get into the car, so he took out the key to a Ferrari and pressed a button. A loud sound came from outside the door. Grandma Lan did not try to persuade him to stay, but told him to be careful on the road. Fang Shihi nodded and left, not caring at all about Dongfang Yan, a passerby. Yeah hey. Dongfang Yan was still thinking about saying hello, but Chun Chun was a clown. Grandma Lan smiled, went back to the kitchen, made 2 breakfasts, and brought them to the attic on the 3rd floor. After a while, strange cries of the bear cub boss and Zoro were heard from upstairs. These 2 idiots. Dongfang Yan sat at the counter, fiddling with the drawings in his hand. At this time, Sister Wan Wan came out from behind the ecological park and said in confusion, I don't know what happened to Slowpoke. He ate voraciously this morning and even slept in the grass at the door. It's really strange. Dongfang Yan hasn't reacted yet. Ahoy, it's broken. I wipe. Dongfang Yan stood up suddenly. Sister Wan Wan was startled and slapped Dongfang Yan with one hand. The gentle slap like a girl made Dongfang Yan a little overwhelmed. What's wrong? You're so startled. You gave me a fright. Hey, it's okay. Dongfang Yan didn't dare to tell the truth, for fear he would be beaten. As the man spoke, his legs began to move towards the back door. Sister Wan Wan ignored him. Judging from his expression, she thought he had done something stupid again. After all, this kid has a lot of secrets and hasn't told me and my grandma. But never mind, give this kid some privacy. While running, Dongfang Yan bought a bag of super-powered Pokémon cubes from the system store. Oh my god, I was on the phone yesterday and forgot to secretly feed Slowpoke. You deserve to die. When you arrive at the entrance of the ecological park, use fingerprint recognition and password to open the small door of the ecological park. Slowpoke held his food bowl and ate with a slurping sound. Dongfang Yan picked up Slowpoke, who struggled desperately because he was not full yet. Seeing its appearance, Dongfang Yan felt distressed. He took out the psychic attribute Pokémon cube and waved it in front of Slowpoke's nose. Slowpoke suddenly became quiet, and obediently accepted Dongfang Yan's feeding, the forced love from the old father Dongfang Yan. Slowpokemon smiled happily. This time, his bulging belly was really full. Dongfang Yan also released Hu Hu. Faced with the unfamiliar environment, Hu Hu couldn't adapt for a while. However, Dongfang Yan took it directly to the fruit forest, and the various colors of fruits did not dazzle Hu Hu's eyes. The mole suddenly came out of the ground. Dongfang Yan squatted down and touched the mole's bald head. I haven't seen you for a long time. Just pack up your meal and take it home. The mole rubbed Dongfang Yan's hand and looked at the strange Pokémon in front of him. Dongfang Yan looked very interested in the mole and started introducing it to him. It's called Hu Hu, it's a rock and bug Pokémon, it can make juice and jam. Hoo looked at the gopher, not particularly scared, and shook his body in a friendly manner. Seeing that the two Pokémon were getting along well, it was just a matter of course. After all, ever since Diglett came to the ecological park, Dongfang Yan had arranged for him to take care of the fruits in the fruit forest. I haven't made any particularly good friends, except for the knocking monkey, a thief who likes to steal fruits. Zoro and the big bear cubs should be reasonable and not come to steal. Well, to put it bluntly, the fruits on the tree are not yet ripe, so it is not time to steal them. Okay, the environment for Hoo has been arranged, and the fruit forest here can be harvested after some time. Because there are still some unripe fruits on the trees outside are harvested at this time. One reason is that they are afraid that Pokémon will steal them, and the other is that the nutrients in the fertilizer are not enough to be absorbed. Dongfang Yan didn't think these were a problem. After all, the ecological park was full of their own Pokémon, so they could just steal them. It didn't matter. The second is that you have your own system. The fertilizers in the system store are very nutritious and can also make the trees bear more and larger fruits. So there is no need to panic. Even if they are overripe and a few fall off, there is still a pot of water, so I can make all of them into jam. Chapter 127. Poster. After settling Hoo down, he released the two caterpillars, but asked Xiao Si to build a fence with vines. The purpose is to prevent the caterpillar from running around. After all, it will pupate when the time comes, and Dongfang Yan is afraid that it will be eaten by Gugu and Bobo accidentally. I'm also worried that the ecological park is so big that I won't be able to find it when the time comes. Speaking of the Pokémon in the ecological park, a Pidgeot has evolved into a Pidgeot, which Dongfang just saw. The Pidgeot flew over and showed off to Dong Yan. It looked at the two green caterpillars and thought they were a reward for itself, so it almost ate them in one bite. Frightened, Dongfang Yan quickly bought a bag of flying attribute Pokémon cubes from the system store and gave them all to Pidgeot as a reward. Only then did the Pidgeot bird stop being angry and flew away happily. To be honest, most of the Pokémon in the ecological park are stuck at a critical value of evolution. To be honest, Dongfang Yan was quite afraid that the Pokémon in the ecological park would suddenly evolve collectively, in order to avoid seeing only unfamiliar faces when he entered the ecological park. That would be really funny. Ding-ling-ling. The sound of wind chimes rang out. Dongfang Yan was still drawing on the table. He took a picture and then heard the sound of wind chimes. He looked towards the door. It was the mother and daughter from yesterday. Sorry for a disturbance. The mother and daughter pushed open the door and walked in, speaking very politely. Ah, it's okay, I won't bother you. I have no business these days. I don't know why, but there hasn't been much business recently, except when I'm selling water attribute Pokémon cubes, then there are so many people that it's hard to get in. That. The little girl was not as worldly wise as her mother. She just picked up the rock dog and started petting it. She also found that the Gugu on the tree had been replaced by Bobo. She was very happy. The rock dog has been accustomed to being petted, but yesterday the rock dog was very brave. Dongfang Yan sighed that this silly dog was not raised in vain, and sent it directly to Pang Yangwei to learn skills. Rock dog. So now the rock dog guards the house in the morning, and goes back to the ecological park in the afternoon to learn skills from Pang Yangwei. What is this for? More later. Well, I've already caught the green caterpillar you wanted. Look. As he spoke, Dongfang Yan released the caterpillar. The caterpillar stayed in the pokeball for a whole day and was a little bored. After coming out, it kept crawling around on the table. Dongfang Yan took out a few ordinary Pokémon cubes that could be eaten by all Pokémon from under the cabinet and fed them to the caterpillar. The caterpillar had never eaten such delicious food before. He started eating with big mouthfuls, and Dongfang Yan felt hungry just by looking at it. It looks so alive. Baby, come here quickly. When the little girl heard this, she raised her head. Wow! Green caterpillar! As he said that, he ran over, dragging Yan Go's leg, which made Dongfang Yan feel very distressed. And he complained in his heart, what green caterpillar? That's called the baby form of Rayquaza. Of course, it's just talk. Wow, it's so cute when it eats. The little girl's mother looked at the caterpillar. Although girls like it, as the first Pokémon, there are still some requirements in terms of qualifications. Dongfang Yan certainly understood what the little girl's mother was thinking. He picked up the caterpillar and started testing it on the qualification testing machine next to him. Ding ding, Pokémon caterpillar detected. Qualification level D, level 6. Testing completed. After the machine finished the inspection, Dongfang Yan took the caterpillar back. You can go to the Pokémon Center to test your qualifications again. After all, you still have to go to the Pokémon Center to register, so you can test it again while you're there. As Dongfang Yan spoke, the little girl's mother nodded, indicating that she understood. After all, it's my first time in this breeding house, so I'm still a little bit unconvinced, which is normal. Dongfang Yan didn't say anything. The little girl's mother paid the bill and took the reluctant little girl out of the breeding house. At this time, the system heard the sound of task completion. Dongfang Yan got the reputation points as he wished. It's a shame there are no hidden rewards though. Ding dong. Dongfang Yan was shocked when he heard the news from his Pokémon encyclopedia, thinking that the system had sent him another task. I didn't expect that. I forgot to change the ringtone for the newly purchased Pokémon encyclopedia. When I opened it, it was a message from Fatty. That's right, click on the voice message sent by Fatty Chien. Hey, Yan, you guys are still doing this, do you need any sponsorship? It's a bit of a stretch. Dongfang Yan painted for 2 days, took photos and sent them to Fatty Chien, asking him to beautify it, make it into a poster, and print 200 copies. The electronic version was also sent over at the same time. Dongfang Yan checked it and found no problems, so he posted it directly on the official website of Yunai Breeding House. What poster? Dongfang Yan decided to hold the Yunao competition in half a month, which will be held by the Yunao Breeding House. Of course, for this kind of privately organized competition, it is sufficient to be registered with the league. Of course, there must also be a supporting medical team, which is a minor problem. Sister Wan Wan said that she would go on stage personally and serve as the medical team with Xiao Tana and Hu Egg. To be honest, Dongfang Yan is completely relieved about this. It would be nice to let little Tana broaden his horizons. However, Sister Wan Wan asked me to buy medicine and other things. Dongfang Yan naturally agreed, but he had not yet decided on a candidate for the referee position. At this time, Fatty Chien called. Dongfang Yan picked up the phone. What? This is really interesting. You should also charge a registration fee, right? Dongfang Yan raised his eyebrows. Isn't this nonsense? I've also set up prizes and charged a registration fee of 12 yuan. That's not too much, right? Oh, that's right. Fatty Chien said on the other end. No, Chien Di Chang, you really are crazy about money. Dongfang Yan didn't even need to look at Fatty Chien's expression. Just by listening to what he said, he knew that this fat guy was up to no good again. The last time he took Pang Yanga to a competition, he bought the ball and let it go directly, and even prepared goggles in advance, which made it difficult for Dongfang Yan to do anything. However, this competition is expected to last for 3 days. If you need any help during this period, I will give you a green channel. Fatty Chien was touched. Okay, Yan, I love you so much. Don't do that, Buletin Nan. Fuck off. This sentence didn't make the fat guy lose his defense, he was actually a little touched. Oh, by the way, are you referees ready? Dongfang Yan told Fatty Chien very honestly, no. Fatty Chien. The medical team. Sister Wan is here. That's no problem. Dongfang Yan said something else to Fatty Chien and then hung up the phone. After all, it's half a month later and I still have to report to school. Send out posters and other things first to increase popularity and warm up the atmosphere. Reputation points won't come easily when the time comes. Chapter 128. Poster release. Dongfang Yan thought about initiating this competition for a long time. I didn't expect that. In the past, I participated in and played competitions by myself, but now it's my turn to initiate a competition. Although it is an unofficial competition organized by a non-governmental organization and has no official recognition, there is still a long way to go. This game also has a lot of requirements. On the one hand, it is the age factor. The participating ages are between 12 and 16, and they are facing the group of new trainers and junior trainers. This time it is just a test of the waters. After all, there is only one competition venue now, and the breeding house does not have enough energy to take care of too many things now, so it can only hold this small event. Because there is only one venue, there can't be too many participants, so we decide on 32 people first. The competition is divided into an elimination system, which means that everyone only has one chance, and if you lose, you lose. So luck is also a part of the game. Of course, the person who wins the championship in the end is definitely the one with the strength. This competition will be held in half a month, and the prizes will be given to those who make it to the top 16. The top 16 prizes will be a little more useful, but the top 16 prizes are different. The first prize is tentatively a Pokémon egg, the second prize is a Pokémon Advanced Ball plus 2 bags of Water Attribute Pokémon Cubes, and the third prize is 2 ordinary red and white Pokémon Balls plus 2 bags of Water Attribute Pokémon Cubes. The other rankings are all a bag of Water Attribute Pokémon Cubes. After all, the registration fee is only a few $dozen, what else do you want? So the prize for first place is the Pokémon egg, but it's still tentative. The poster has been produced, and there will be medals as well. This will all be left to Fatty Chien. Dongfang Yan won't bother to care about what Fatty Chien wants to do at the competition venue anyway, as Fatty knows what to do. But there is one more thing that Dongfang Yan needs to prepare for immediately, and that is the Pokémon High School. When we were competing at Yangcheng Center before, there was only one final left and no more matches. However, this final is a competition with top players from various middle schools. This is the competition that determines the final destination, although Dongfang Yan doesn't quite understand the differences between the various Pokémon high schools. However, a high school that is praised by so many people must have its own special features. The finals are just a few days away, which means we have to go to the place designated by the school tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. To be honest, I still feel a little reluctant. It's a bit sad when I think about leaving this home. After staying in the ecological park for a long time, I found it quite fun. Whenever I had nothing to do, I would follow little Tana and circle around the place where Pokémon eggs were cultivated. Under Sister Juan's guidance, little Tana learns very quickly and learns to take care of the various injuries of Pokémon. Some training equipment has been installed in the ecological park, and the Pokémon are always beaten black and blue. Or they could communicate and exchange ideas with the Pokémon on the platform on top of the rock mountain, and then go find Tanabe honestly. If there is a situation that little Tana doesn't know how to deal with, he will take the Pokémon to find Sister Wan. Little C also played with little Tana, and the two Pokémon were very close. Dongfang Yan bought a lot of medicine from the system store and placed them in the storage room in the breeding house. To be honest, the ecological park and the breeding house are getting better and better, and there are more and more things. By then we will definitely have to build a warehouse next door, as there are so many things that the 3 floors will be filled to the brim. It's too crowded. Dad, do you think Ziodan will become stupid if he follows Li Xingxin every day? Sister Zhang said to her husband, after all, Eggplant is a rock-type Pokémon. That is, Stone Ball, the consumption of rock-type Pokémon is also relatively large. Seeing Ziodan playing some childish games with Li Xingxin every day, I am worried that Ziodan's brain will be damaged by following Li Xingxin. Uncle Li looked at his son and didn't have this worry at first, but when he saw Li Xingxin grab a hat and put it on, he shouted that he wanted to become a Pokémon master or something. I feel a little worried for some reason. Ding! Sister Zhang and Uncle Li's Pokémon illustrated books rang at the same time. Both of them grabbed the Pokémon encyclopedia at the same time to see what was going on. At first glance, it was the news released by Yunai Breeding House, which was of special concern to me. Ever since Ziodan became Li Xingxin's initial Pokémon, and it was free, Uncle Li and Sister Zhang had never seen such a situation before. In the past, I would go out into the wild and secretly bring back a few Pokémon with good personalities, or have my parents take me to look for them. If that didn't work, I would spend some money to buy Pokémon eggs to hatch. Since that time, Uncle Li and Sister Zhang have become crazy fans of Yunai Breeding House. There is a place selling Pokémon cubes near my house, but I still have to drive to Yunai Breeding House to buy them. Uncle Li and Sister Zhang opened the Pokémon encyclopedia and clicked on the official website of Yunai Breeding House. A poster came into view. A night owl occupied the front half of the poster with a few lines of large words printed on it, Yunai competition, waiting for you to participate. Below are some pictures of Pokémon, including Slowpoke, Bearcat, and some Rumble. There are also a few Pokémon that I saw in the last lottery. After all, that performance also made the residents of Yangcheng remember the Pokémon in Yunai Breeding House. Like a night owl soaring into the sky, some people took out their illustrated books and clapped their hands, calling him the big boss. There were also the Lily Root dolls and Miss Skirt, who made a group of people cheer. Look, honey, this seems to be a competition held by Yunai Breeding House. It seems so. Let's see what the requirements are. The competition will be held in half a month. There are age requirements, and Xingxin has met them. It only works if you meet the age requirement. It's hard to say about the person, but it seems there are prizes. Uncle Li flipped through the illustrated book and carefully looked at the requirements on the poster. Sister Zhang looked at it and said, "Look, Mr. Li, there is a limit on the number of participants. There are only 32 contestants." Uncle Li also flipped through it and found that it was indeed true. He looked back at his son holding the pokeball and giving random orders to Ishiwenzi. The couple looked at each other and confirmed it. Similarly, on the streets, posters are posted in the right places, and the Yunao breeding house has become famous locally. Dongfang Yan can see the reputation value added by 0.01 every day. Although it is a small amount, it still counts. Many residents are very interested in the large glass behind the Yunao breeding house. That is the ecological park. No less than hundreds of people have come to ask if they can visit the ecological park. Of course it was rejected. After all, the eco park was still in the initial run-in period, and there were so many flowers and plants in the eco park that it didn't look like it had just been built. Until now, Li Xingxin is the only outsider who has entered. Fatty Qian had gone in to visit when Dongfang Yan disappeared and was also shocked. But I didn't take it seriously. Chapter 129. Campus Finals. Half a day after the poster was released, many people finally called to ask if such a thing happened, so Dongfang Yan answered the phone at the front desk for a whole day. I don't know how many glasses of water I drank. In addition, many people asked about the situation on the back end of the Yunao Breeding House official website, and Dongfang Yan replied one by one. I had just finished my work online when some customers came to Yunai Breeding House to buy things. They also saw the poster at the door of the breeding house and asked whether the competition was real or not. Dongfang Yan gave a clear answer, and the guests were very surprised, mainly because they did not expect that the small breeding house could actually host a competition. Of course, they said they would come to support the event. After all, this kind of competition is quite rare in Yangcheng City. Not many people watch the gym challenge, and there is not a single gym in Everlasting City. It's not that no one wants to be a gym owner, but mainly because no one can meet the requirements of a gym owner for the time being. This kind of competition organized by non-governmental organizations and participated by familiar children from the neighborhood is quite worth watching. Of course, it must be free to watch. After all, his main purpose is to make the Yunai breeding house more famous, and the reputation is what Dongfang Yan wants. Now Dongfang Yan is just afraid that there will be too many people coming that day and there will be no seats. After all, the last time I had a fight with that manager, a large group of people showed up to join in the fun. Needless to say, this time, the Yunao competition will be held for 3 days, morning and afternoon, with a break at noon and the knockout round. To be honest, it's only 3 days, and we might have to add more time. Thinking of this, Dongfang Yan called Fatty to discuss it. Fatty Qian thought about it and it did make sense. After all, the goggles sold well last time. Finally, Fatty and Dongfang Yan decided to build another venue. After all, there was still half a month left, and it would be just enough to divert the flow of people so that it wouldn't be so crowded. Fatty Qian finally scolded Dongfang Yan, asking why he didn't discuss this matter earlier. Speaking of, Dongfang Yan is short-sighted and narrow-minded. Why not just build a big one? Dongfang Yan rolled his eyes and said bluntly, "It's great to have so much money. Do you think everyone is like you?" To be honest, although what the fat man said does make sense, there is really no other way. Dongfang Yan also wants to build a large competition venue at one time. Unfortunately, there is no money. A day later, Dongfang Yan was standing at the door of Yunai's breeding house waiting with a suitcase. Yangcheng Middle School called and asked Dongfang Yan to go to a station in Yongyuan City and wait there for the next instructions. It was so mysterious that Dongfang Yan even suspected it was a scam. Of course, Fatty Qian and Uncle Fu drove to pick me up. After a while, a long-distance runner drove over. The fat man was eating buns and drinking soy milk in a very ungraceful manner and waving at Dongfang Yan. Uncle Fu smiled as he drove and said hello to Grandma Lan and Sister Wan Wan. Amid the roar of the engine, Cheng Bao disappeared at the door of the Yunao breeding house. Sister Wan Wan looked at the construction site in the distance and said, "The breeding house is getting better and better." Grandma Lan looked at the construction site in the distance and nodded. I didn't expect that this kid would restore the breeding house so quickly. He must have paid a lot. Sister Wan Wan also nodded, then stretched her body, making a crackling sound, giving the illusion of a Barbie doll. This time when he went out, Dongfang Yan simply said goodbye to the Pokémon in the ecological park. Take Slowpoke and Zoroark out. The eldest bear baby was very angry and pulled Dongfang Yan's leg and asked why he didn't take him with him. In fact, Dongfang Yan didn't particularly want to take Zoroark with him, but he thought about Zoroark's transmogrification properties. Then take it with you first, just in case. Otherwise, you just want to take Slowpoke with you for now. After talking to the big bear baby for a long time, he finally stopped making trouble. But unexpectedly, the large-scale farewell scene in the ecological park came again. The little guy Hua Bai Bei floated over again. These days, the flowers have turned into fruits, which made the little guy very angry. Seeing this guy's depressed look, Dongfang Yan bought some flowering potted plants, which made this guy very happy. As for what happened next, Dongfang Yan looked back at all the Pokémon and thought, what does it mean to treat everyone equally? The extra chapter has not been written yet. Sitting in the car, Fatty Qian and Dongfang Yan discussed what they were going to do there. It's just a competition, why are you being so secretive? No matter what kind of monsters or demons there are, just rush at him and crush them all with Snorlax and Ishigaki. This has to be attributed to the fat guy's efforts. Under the one-on-one guidance of Uncle Fu, his fighting skills are getting better and better. Before that, Fatty went for a walk in the forest twice by himself, bringing Ishigaki and Snorlax with him. The fat man was really willing to do so and directly taught Shi Wanzi an earthquake. Dongfang Yan was speechless. He had worked so hard to save up reputation points for so long, but he could only buy an earthquake skill learning machine. The remaining reputation points were barely enough to supplement the household expenses. That means it's just enough to purchase 1 month's worth of food for the Pokémon in the ecological park. These eastern dialects will not let their Pokémon eat too bad food. Even Sister Wan Wan always brings her own Pokémon to eat the Pokémon blocks produced by the system. Yes, Sister Wan Wan once released her own Pokémon, and at that time the Pokémon in the ecological park had just started eating. Sister Juan's Pokémons are about to make their grand appearance. The two things that left a deep impression on Dongfang Yan were Karam and Happiny. There are also several other Pokémon, including Starfish, Fortibot, Flame Horse, and Reishu. The ones that impressed Dongfang Yan the most were Flamebron and Reishu. Why? Because Flamehorn is from the Galar region and Reishu is from the Alola region. It was the first time for Dongfang Yan to see Pokémon in different forms from other regions. Especially this flaming horse, the visual effect of this rainbow horse is simply a girl killer. I remember that in my previous life there was a cartoon that was all about horses, and it was quite popular. Anyway, they all get along pretty well, which indirectly stimulates the other Pokémon in their initial forms in the ecological park. Looking at the handsome appearance of the flame horse, the flowing hair and beautiful color, it is very popular. The other Pokémon were so excited that they imagined how handsome they would look when they evolved. They got excited just thinking about it. The eldest baby bear put his hands on his hips, imagining himself evolving into a circle bear. Knocking Monkey is no exception. He took Dongfang Yan's Pokémon illustrated book and insisted on seeing his own evolved appearance. In order to stimulate it and make it work harder, Dongfang Yan showed it its final evolution, the Bomb King Kong. The little monkey was so excited that he did a backflip on the spot. Chapter 130. Changes in the finals. Sitting in the car, Uncle Fu was driving. Looking at Dongfang Yan who was in a daze, he asked casually, Xiao Yan, I heard that you are going to hold the YouNow competition. How is it going? Have you arranged everything? Dongfang Yan was originally thinking about the ecological park, but he immediately came to his senses when Uncle Fu called him. Oh! I discussed it with Fatty yesterday and built another battlefield. The infrastructure is almost ready, but we are still short of 2 referees. Dongfang Yan told everything truthfully. There is nothing to hide, and I always feel that Uncle Fu is just being polite. I guess the ecological park is going to hold a competition, and everything about this matter is almost clear. Referee, let's do this. Do you think I can do it, old man? Uncle Fu asked as he drove. Dongfang Yan didn't turn around for a moment, and Fatty Qian was drinking soy milk and almost spit it out accidentally. Both sides looked at each other. Dongfang Yan looked at Fatty Qian and asked, why didn't you say so earlier? Fatty Qian, I don't know either. Butler Fu Bo glanced at the rearview mirror and saw Dong Fanjian and Fatty Qian exchanging glances. What are you two doing looking at each other all your life? Do you dislike an old man like me? Fatty Qian and Dong Fangyan were frightened when they heard this. He quickly said, how dare I? Dong Fangyan also explained repeatedly, this is not to use a butcher knife to kill a chicken. Dong Fangyan was a little aware of Uncle Fu's strength. Before, when we were exploring in the Moonlight Forest, Uncle Fu is riding on a sonic dragon, and his level is 73, which represents Uncle Fu's status as a top-level trainer. And I heard the fat man say that Uncle Fu raised him from childhood to adulthood. Although they are not relatives, they are better than relatives. What's more, the fat man said that Uncle Fu is a friend who followed his father around the country in the early years. It can be said that Uncle Fu has made a lot of efforts to build such a large family business. It's a pity that Uncle Fu has not married or had children yet, and treats Fatty Qian as his own grandson. It is such a waste of talent to ask such a strong player to be the referee for new trainers. Uncle Fu naturally had no such concerns and understood what Dong Fangyan meant. He waved his hand and said, let's put it this way first. I have the responsibility to be the referee of the ring. The rest is up to you, kid. Dong Fangyan saw that Uncle Fu said this, so what else was there to say? He just smiled secretly. After more than half an hour's drive, we finally arrived at our destination. The main reason is that Fatty Qian's car is too intimidating. Pedestrians on the road avoided the road and other cars also pulled over to the side of the road. Dong Fangyan couldn't help but complain about this evil capitalism, and picked up the drink next to him and started drinking. Okay, here we are. Uncle Fu stopped the car. Finally arrived at this destination. Forever Town Square. Although Dong Fangyan, I don't know why I came to this place. Dong Fangyan came too late. I originally thought that not many people would arrive. Who knew that when Dong Fangyan looked, he saw that there were quite a few people coming. However, everyone looked at Dong Fangyan and Fatty who had just finished a long run, and they thought that they must be people with some background in their families. After a while, almost everyone was there. In front of the crowd was a small platform with several alliance officials standing on it. It seems that everyone is already here. A league official wearing a hat came out. He picked up a microphone and cleared his throat. Ahem, hello, parents and classmates. I'm sure everyone is very confused. Why did we have to come to this place for the last finals? Everyone in the audience nodded. That's true, the place chosen is really quite interesting, Dong Fangyan thought. In recent years, the league has seen many junior, intermediate and even advanced trainers. In the survival of the wild, there are always mysterious disappearances or deaths. The Alliance wants to enhance the survival ability of trainers. But we are carrying out a pilot reform here. The traditional finals have been cancelled this time and we are adopting a survival pilot. As soon as the Alliance official finished speaking, there was an uproar below. What? What does it mean? I do not know. I don't know what you are talking about. I see others have done the same. The league officials looked at the noisy crowd below. Looking at the other people next to him, their official positions were higher than his. To put it bluntly, this pilot project is also a requirement from above. It had been planned long ago, but there seemed to be some problems with the trial location this time. However, the demands from above are still being enforced, and the people below have no choice but to do this. Leader, does this mean that our children are going to take a field test? The people in the audience asked. The host, who was also the Alliance official, nodded. That's right, we will be conducting field tests, but don't worry, we will have special rangers and Alliance investigators to provide protection. As for safety, you have to rest assured. Otherwise, we wouldn't be holding this experiment. Of course it's all voluntary. Those who voluntarily participate can choose Pokémon High School first, and the rest will have normal Pokémon battles and then choose a high school. When the parents in the audience heard this, they were delighted. Dong Fangyan looked at the people around him and his expression began to change. He really didn't expect to be in the Pokémon world. The Huiguo Alliance exam is still so important in the minds of all parents. Dong Fangyan and Fatty Qian looked back at Uncle Fu, wanting to see his opinion. Uncle Fu frowned, and no one knew what he was thinking. Dong Fangyan felt uneasy. Although the exam was voluntary, he knew that many parents wanted their children to enter Pokémon High School because it was an institution dedicated to training Pokémon trainers. However, the risks of field tests are too great, and even with the protection of Rangers and Alliance investigators, the danger cannot be completely eliminated. For example, in the last adventure in the Moonlight Forest, even if there was no evil organization, Dongfang Yan almost lost his life there. Dongfang Yan frowned, secretly thinking about whether to choose this experiment. He looked at Fatty Qian and found that he also looked worried and was obviously hesitant. Uncle Fu remained silent, but there was a hint of hesitation and worry in his eyes. Fatty, what are you worried about? Dongfang Yan climbed up the fat man and walked to the side, and asked quietly. I'm worried. I might need to go to the bathroom later. But I just took a quick look around, and the toilet in this square is quite far away. Dongfang Yan. I guess you looked worried just now, because you were worried about not having a toilet? Fatty, you really have a kind heart. I have to admire you. Looking at Uncle Fu's worried expression, I guess the place where he is taking the exam is not ordinary.